This episode of All Wings Considered is brought to you by Synthomeat.
What can you eat that's pretty neat, that can't be beat? Well, what you need, it's Synthomeat!
Now, here's Ben and Jason.
Hey everybody, welcome to another thrilling episode of All Wings Considered, the only internetweb.com show where we talk about Wing Commander for several hours and sometimes play it also.
Sure.
I'm your host, Ben Loaf Lesnick, and I'm joined, as always, by my, let's say, wingman.
Yeah, that's a good title for myself. Jason Dunderdall McHale. I'm still trying to get over the .com thing. We don't even have a .com. Well, we do have a .com.
We do have a .com.
But not like our .com. That's what I was thinking, you know. But anyways, that was a different intro for you.
Yeah, that was different. I mean, bad.
Yeah, yes. That was not good, but that's okay.
So how the hell are you?
I'm great. I almost just said that was not good. I'm good. How are you?
I am not too bad.
It's been, I'd say it's been a fairly quiet week for us.
Well, for you, maybe. I went to a concert.
Oh, that's right. I guess, yeah.
I watched Joe versus the Volcano.
I didn't think you were going to brag about the concert, but sure.
No. A quiet week, yes.
Yeah, Joe versus Volcano. Not a bad movie, but not
what you expect. Very dark.
No, it's inoffensively shoving Meg Ryan at you in 3 different ways. Which I guess isn't bad. What are you going to do? But anyways, so what are we here to talk about this week? We don't have a lot of small talk. Not a whole lot,
Oh, we have a lot of small talk.
Well, we have a lot of... I meant our personal small talk.
Oh, no.
We see each other all the time, so it's kind of weird to talk about things we've already talked about unless, we... hide them from each other until Thursday night?
It's called performance.
That's what the only thing that's ever done that is the fan I got us. that was something that did that, but other than that, yeah. Anyways, all right.
So we are continuing our great big playthrough of Wing Commander 3 with we will awkward control our way through the 3DO version of the Locanda missions. Coming up at the end of our program, we've got book club for the next 6 or 7 chapters of...
a good chunk.
Yeah, a good chunk of the Heart of the Tiger novelization that goes along with the Locanda missions. Yep. We're going to do a little gauntlet challenge. Check out the Wing Commander 3 gauntlet. And then we've got a bunch of news to talk about and various such as it is.
Sure, yeah. We're a normal fun-filled evening.
Mm-hmm.
A little different though. The gauntlet should be fun. I don't know how much I've even done the Wing Commander 3 gauntlet, so it'll be a nice treat.
Have you been practicing Wing Commander 3 to get ready for it?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
I read about some stuff for work this afternoon. That was it. I did not. I should have practiced. I didn't think of that, but I'm sure you did.
All right. Well, let's hit our. I did not.
Oh.
Let's hit our afterburners and go to the afterburner slideshow. Whoosh. Jazz hands.
Afterburner hands.
Afterburner hands. Yes.
Afterburner hands. What's our first? What's our first bit?
Well, let's talk about some of the things in the news, because there's some various minor levels of Wing Commander news out there, and then there's just general nonsense to talk about, and we're going to mix it up, news and nonsense.
Is that a new segment, news and nonsense?
No, because it's not funny.
Yeah, all right. Well, I was going to try to stretch it if we could, but yeah, you're right. There's no stretching that. All right, what's our first news? Nonsense? Is that what? Maybe I should just guess at the end. That would be the bit. Never mind.
All right, first up, the physical release of System Shock that we talked about last week.
Yep.
Which should be coming up when I press the on button and is not for some reason.
Oh. What have you broken?
I see what I've broken. Okay. Never mind, it's okay.
Okay. Do we know how the physical thing?
I don't have the picture for that one, but...
that's okay.
I'm a master with OBS. So anyway, the physical release of System Shock from Limited Run Games is available now. They're doing pre-orders all month long, and hopefully the data from that they can take and say, hey, people actually want this thing. But as a part of that...
You know what we should make instead?
Yeah, we should all make Wing Commanders if we can. So as a part of that, I decided to look up a document I think I've referenced a couple of times in the show, which was some of the handwritten notes they had during Wing Commander 1 that is now stored in a museum archive, which shows the proposed list of possible. Origin called them trinkets. Other companies called them feelies, but the extra thing in the game box, as was Origin's want at the time. And here it is, right here. This is from Warren Spector's archives at University of Texas at the Dolph Briscoe Center for American History. And this is the proposed budget for Wing Commander 1. That's how much it will cost. The materials budget is what it's called. It's how much it will physically cost to manufacture the game and the discs and the manual. So how go from theory to one physical unit.
Those prices.
Yes, we'll be talking about that in just a moment.
Inflation.
Well, yes and no. We'll see.
Okay.
But it's cool because there's this list of the different ideas they had for what else could go in the box, and then they eventually did go with the 4 blueprints. You can see he's crossed out the other things, but they talked about doing a comic strip. They talked about doing miniature ships. How cool would that have been? You see, even back in 1990, they were talking about doing a universe map, but of course, what we got was that's the materials budget.
Ooh. We
got these blueprints, which are amazing.
Very nice. Everybody loves them.
Everyone loves the blueprints. Sometimes it's just nice to see them again. And in fact, the Japanese FM Towns release actually did come with a map poster. So that one happened earlier than most folks probably know.
Yep.
This,
I think we've showed that off before. And
this is the FM Towns Vegas sector.
With the weird blank spaces afterwards, though.
But that led me to get to talking to someone on Twitter who was, and Twitter, of course, this is someone who is apparently an activist for, there shouldn't be digital copies of games. Everyone should be buying, they should still making physical copies, and Steam is screwing us by lying to us that it's too expensive and so on. Which was very, very interesting because of all the hills to die on, that's not very interesting one, and also you're definitely going to die there.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people running for support.
That bell will not become unrung.
Yeah,
but he was all excited because he saw these numbers like, oh my god, it cost $3 to make a game, and they sell them for $60. This is proof of my cause, and he was going to go off and probably yell at people with that.
Time and space are things that actually move.
So what I wanted to point out from that is not the case at all. That is a $3, and in fact, here is the detailed budget per different SKU for Wing Commander 1 for the physically making the materials. And you can see their goal is that it should be 8% of the MSRP, which was $59.99, or say $60. And yeah, you hear that and you're like, oh my god, $5? And they're making $55? What a scam. But not the case at all.
No, I believe it's called labor costs.
Yes.
Other overhead costs that are involved.
So imagine
people got to get paid.
Imagine you manufacture 100,000 Wing Commander 1s and you sell them for $60 each, and you somehow sell every single one. You're gonna make around $6 million, and a third of that's gonna go to the retailer, and a third of that is gonna go to actual development. And then another 10% is going to go to budgeting and distribution, and it's a much more narrow thing to play with, and that's only if every single copy sells for as much as it possibly can, which is never going to happen. So it really is just a tiny window. You are lucky to make a couple dollars off of the game, not. It's not actually, oh my god, it's only cost $3.60 to make a video game.
I'm going to make $6 million off every single copy.
But anyway, I think this sheet is fascinating, and we have it up on WC News if you're interested. You can see exactly what the breakdown was per individual component. What did the manual cost? What did the physical media cost? Mm-hmm. The other thing that makes this totally irrelevant today is that the lion's share of that materials budget was for diskettes in 1990, and that is one of the reasons why companies like Origin and Sierra sent out flyers saying buy CD-ROM, because once the CD-ROM took over, this number went way down. Of course, now everybody needs to have like a life-size demon and hat to wear and a high-quality canvas bag and so on in their materials budget. And
oh, yes.
It kind of got to be this Cold War between who can have the fanciest collector's edition. Which arguably Wing Commander 3 started.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those things where people go back and, well, technically there was a nice edition of Pong that you could get at Sears instead of Walmart. And
came with actual ping
yeah,
pong
sure.
paddles.
There are special versions of games in the past, but Wing Commander 3 is the first one that was kind of like a mass market. Everybody knew about it, and you had right up front the choice of going, oh, I'm going to pay an extra $40 for the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And it kind of snowballed from there. So that is our very brief talk about the
budgets
in Wing Commander 1 materials.
Who would have thought?
Commander 1.
This is a show that's supposed to be about escapism, and here we are talking about effing budgets.
Is the show about escapism?
We're escaping to the Confederation. Apparently,
Okay.
now we're back to money and budgeting things and.
He's an Earthwormer Eagle. Second up, slightly more fun. Someone posted on /Wing Commander Reddit. I don't know what the proper pronunciation for Reddit is. Do you say the R? The Wing Commander Reddit. Someone has added the VDUs for the Wing Commander 1, 2, and 3 flyable ships to the to Tier Maker, which is. I should stress this is all stupid and not interesting, but it's fun also.
Yeah. Yeah, we all did.
So I did mine. I thought the Ferret and the Thunderbolt, those are my. I really want to be flying those all the time, and then you go all the way down to the Saber and the Crossbow and the Epi, which are insufferable. Yeah. All Wing Commander 2 ships, interesting.
Yeah.
And you could see I don't especially the Excalibur is great, but it's also not tremendously fun because those end game ships they don't stick with me so much.
Yeah, well, it because you don't face anything that really gives it a nice challenge.
Yeah.
A Thunderbolt versus a Vaktoth is a good fight where it's just a matter of landing your tachyons and being done with it.
Yeah.
And you need more Bloodfangs, I guess, or another a late tier ship.
Yeah.
I can see that.
All right, well, here's yours.
I was going to say, I don't remember, but I sort of remember mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I just like the look of the Excalibur, so that's why I always have it at the top.
No. I mean, there's no rules to tier makers.
That's true. I mean, I have the same, two of the same bottom ones as you, the Crossbow and the Epi. They do deserve to be down there. I have the Saber a bit higher, just because I think more the potential of what the Saber could be, as opposed to how it actually plays in the game. It could be a really
it plays so badly.
I know, but it looks so good, and everything makes it like it should be good, and it's not. So I just that's just a sympathy grading, I guess. But yeah, I just love the Excalibur and the Raptor, and then the Rapier's Morningstar. All your top tier stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Nothing really out of the ordinary otherwise than that.
So, everybody out there in Wing Commander Nation,
make your tiers.
Make your tiers. Post them. Post them
not
anywhere here.
Whoa. First off, Wing Commander Confederation. We're not a nation. If you're gonna do that, you got to make it that at least. Or we'll have to think of another one. I'm sure there's a better word we could use instead. Or something.
Salty.
Hey, not in here. You're not.
So this is a slight follow-up to something we talked about last week, which is the appearance of the Salty in Righteous Fire, the mysterious retro ship. Or the mysterious ship.
Who are you, sir? Yep.
So I just wanted to walk through sort of the history of the Salty real quick. This is the original sketches from which they did the model for the Salty Light Fighter in Wing Commander 1. This is
I like that.
Yeah, it's the sprite sheet for Wing Commander 1. That's every possible view of a Salty. So the ship we see in Privateer looks, of course, like this.
Around.
But this is a capture from the Super Wing Commander manual. The ship model that is used in Righteous Fire for the mysterious ship is taken and not even changed from the Salty model in Super Wing Commander, which was released slightly before Righteous Fire, a matter of months, I believe. It was built by the Super Wing Commander team, and then they needed a Kilrathi ship to import into Privateer. They couldn't use the Straka because of the cloaking device, and they figured this kind of best matched the aesthetic of the Gothri and the Dralthi in Privateer. And so it became...
such a weird cockpit.
It is so weird, and I'm going to talk about where I think it came from in just a moment. This is some renders of the original model, just to show you some cool details on what this thing, because you saw, well, we'll see the sprite sheet in just a moment. It's tiny little 10 pixel by 10 pixel images, but they put so much detail into it.
Wow, such a weird thing to put the sunroof on the cockpit instead of having it just be a bubble, you know?
Including, you can see that even in Super Wing Commander, it has a privateer laser cannon attached to it. So there's a back and forth there.
High up on the hull.
But here's where I think the weird cockpit comes from, which is the cover art to Secret Missions 1 for the Super Nintendo, which we may have talked about before.
Probably.
And it's one of those great crazy mistake stories, and I'll tell it again just in case nobody has heard it. When they did Wing Commander 1 for the Super Nintendo, they did not have enough memory on the cartridge to have all the ship graphics. So somebody who was trying to figure out how to, shave bytes off very carefully noticed the similar names between Salthy and Jalthy. And so they said, okay, these ships are probably related in the Wing Commander world. What if we just use the same art for them? And so what the game does is, for the Jalthy, it takes the Salthy palette, and it changes the palette so it's green instead of tan. And it gives it the Jalthy stats, so it's the same 6-shooter. It just, in the game, looks like a green Salthy. So then when they went off to do the secret missions for Super Nintendo, all the reference material that they provided to the artist was that this was what a Jalthy looked like, and they wanted to show how hard the game was by having the lightest human ship, the Hornet, up against the toughest Kilrathi ship, Jalthy. So we instead get this this very, very cool painting of a very heavily armed Salthy. There it is in game. If you ever wanted to actually see the green Salthy, Jalthy.
Jalthys.
Anyway, here are the sprite sheets for Super Wing Commander and Privateer, and I'm going to ask you, can you tell the difference between them? Can you tell me which is which?
That is the Righteous Fire one with the more red? And that's Super Wing Commander, I think?
Exactly wrong.
Nice. Well, it could only go one of two ways, my friend.
Yeah, it could have gone one of two ways. All
right.
But the only difference is the difference in the palette between the two games. It's the same model.
Yeah. So wait, go back to all of this. I get Kilrathi flare is there. It's just colored out.
Oh, if you look closely, you can see it's there, but it's a different color, so it doesn't shine like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, that's how similar those two are. The Salthy made a number of appearances in other Wing Commander works over the years. It shows up in End Run as just an example of an especially old Kilrathi ship when they're attacking Fukartag. One of the guard units is flying Salthy. It shows up in the Armada manual, where the manual makes this very strange claim that a group of 6 Salthy torpedoed a carrier. So there must be a torpedo variant of the Salthy out there.
Just throw them around, why not?
It shows it in False Colors, where we learn the Kilrathi have a stealth variant. It's an unarmed recon version of the Salthy with a cloaking device towards the end of the war, the Harakthi. And then the last place it appears is right here, which was in Ultima Online, kind of, as their big April Fool's Day, possibly in the year 2000. The Ultima Online official news website updated that these strange alien space dragons were attacking Britannia, and we had the wherewithal to bother to save this image, which you can see they clearly just had access to that same 3DS model, and they rendered it for this as well. So there you go. And I have the VDUs because I love looking at VDUs.
Hey, what a great set of VDUs you got there, my friend.
So there you go.
Yeah,
that's talking about the Salthy.
Talking about some Salthies. Not a segment.
No, you're kind of 0 for 7 on this today.
Yeah.
All right, from nonsense back to news.
Hello.
The Through the Moongate Volume 2 Kickstarter that's going to cover some of the history of the development of Wing Commander has, as promised, added their 6 stretch goals, some of which they've already met. None of them are specifically about Wing Commander, but this one, which is the 40,000 pound goal, where they're adding additional space for stories from X-Origin employees, sounds pretty interesting. And they're very close to that already. I think if they have not already, they're about to hit $40,000 US, and they're looking for 40,000 pounds for this, so it's not too far off. But the most exciting thing about that Kickstarter, by the way, there's 2 weeks left if anybody wants to support it, is that just before we went live, they posted an update with the very first sketches of the Wing Commander bookmark you get for backing it from Dennis Loubet. So any of these would be pretty cool.
I feel like I'd want the Drell one of the two Drell.
Yeah, the Drell, and I think the update post said they were looking at doing like diecast cutting so that it wouldn't just be a
piece of paper.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be a rectangular bookmark. It'll be
I gotcha.
Pretty exciting. We backed the right horse when it came to Wing Commander bookmarks. I tell you what.
Whoa! Didn't know we had a horse in this game.
And this is something I mostly meant to post last week, but I think I totally spaced on it as we were doing the actual show. Paul Hughes, the lead engineering guy for Privateer 2, posted this on Twitter, which was a team photo, and you probably recognize a lot of those folks. Aaron Roberts, Nick Elms, Tony Stockton, and so on. The folks who made The Darkening. This was their first day at the new Electronic Arts Poynton. I'm sorry, I don't pronounce British towns.
Poynton,
not Lob. Poynton office for the Privateer 2 crew, and
you know what Privateer 2 has?
Yeah, it's a lot of spaceships.
It has a lot of spaceships.
But more exciting than this picture, a lot of planets.
Hey.
If you zoom in on the background, you can see each of these dev walls is the inspiration board for one of the 8 planets in the game, and that right off the bat tells me that they were a bigger deal early in development, because they talk up this like we have all these 8 planets going on at once a lot in the early interviews. Anyway, I wish I could step into that photo and look around. Would be pretty cool.
Yep.
Here is this.
Hey, whoa.
Someone posted this to the Wing Commander invite. I have the credit here. It's from a fellow named the Lunar Army. Posted this to the Wing Commander Reddit, and I thought it was cool, so I shared it. And now you have to see it.
Fan art.
And it is also
love the sabers.
It is also Inktober right now, and I also noticed this one on DeviantArt earlier, which is somebody Microsoft Paint sketching Wing Commander action.
They have failed
now
their
it's
race.
preserved for posterity.
Yep.
Yeah, blowing up a dark cat.
Hey.
Actual big community news to report. The freelancer total conversion from LAF is making massive progress over the last week. He's added. It's a total conversion for Microsoft's freelancer, and he's replacing all the ships with Wing Commander models, and it looks amazing. He has a really great plan for all of it, and it's just coming along so fast. There's already versions you can download and play, and it's pretty neat.
That's what we like. The future is, a good time right now. Modding chat, I don't know what they're always doing in there, because, you look and I'm like, I don't get what 90% of that is, but good job. Like, keep it up.
Yeah?
It sounds heavy.
And there's a million cool photos on WC News of it in action, or just play it yourself.
The chat's go play it yourself, huh?
And now from news, back to nonsense. I like to share the stuff I've been thinking about here in this.
I think don't worry. I think you're news and nonsense all over the place.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's play a little game. Can you identify these fighters? What is it?
Well, this is a demon.
Okay.
I should look over here instead of on the screen. That's 20 seconds. That is a Banshee.
Okay.
That is... Oh, no, that was the Phantom, and that's the Banshee.
What's that one?
That's the Phantom.
Okay.
That's the Banshee.
Okay.
That's the... No, that's a Phantom. I'm bad, aren't I?
Yeah, you did. The first one screwed you up.
Yeah.
But that was the point. These are going to screw you up. These 4 very, very similar Wing Commander fighters.
Yeah, because I saw we talking about this the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, like, what? Because that one, they're the width threw me off.
Well, I realized the other night that while I knew these 4 ships independently, I had never really compared them to see how, if any, they were actually different.
I feel like this is the we mentioned maybe when we talk about Armada, which is like, oh yeah, they kind of look the same, sure, and we throw it away instead of ever thinking about it more than that. So
I decided to go back and look at these, which someone in the community once called monster class fighters, which is both ridiculous and adorable because 3 of them have monster names: Demon, Demon, Phantom,
Banshee,
yeah. And Wraith, which connects to this.
Oh, yeah, so, the Wraith has probably a similar... Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. I see where this is going.
What is going on here? Well, the Demon here is the original. This was a 3D model done in 1992 for Privateer. And it
looks weird there.
It's lit weird because I rendered it out so they all match.
Gotcha.
But you can see it's wider. It is actually different all around than the other 3. Although it looks very similar the way that 2 jet aircraft might look the same. But one is a Hellcat and one is a
Wildcat,
yeah.
Sure.
This here, which is one that you did not pick up on, is the Super Wing Commander. Super Wing Commander.
Right? Is it the Scimitar?
It's the Scimitar, yeah.
Yeah.
So this follows. This model followed in 1994, late 1993, when they built this model. It's clearly inspired by the Demon, but it's not the same model. The dimensions are all different. The wings have this kind of unusual attachment. They seem barely attached. The actual silhouette is very different, if same shaping. It has the big fans on the engines. Then we have these 2 in Wing Commander Armada. This is the Banshee, the heaviest fighter, which you can see is incredibly similar.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about why that is in just a moment. And then this is the Phantom, the medium fighter, the worst medium fighter in Wing Commander history. Let's go ahead and say that.
It's one of it's in the pantheon of bad.
And you can see that it looks very, very similar as well, at least the front.
Yeah, it's got those double prongs. Baby ones.
Well, it's and if you turn it over, you'll see it has gun pods there that they're further back on this one. So what happened there? Well, first of all, I'm going to show you this, which is the Super Wing Commander cinematic model from the manual for the Scimitar.
Okay.
And then this is the cinematic model in the manual for the Banshee. And not for nothing, but they are identical. These are. This is almost the same image.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like a slight stretching.
It's like just the different size of the. It's a physical change to the image.
So I mean, it's just like one's because the wings are slightly stretched, like they pulled it a bit just to fit the manual.
So what you were seeing there is that the folks doing Armada simply took this Scimitar model and they reduced it in polys in the actual game engine. So there's no second original model. The 3D mesh of the Banshee is the Scimitar model reduced, and in that process they make some changes. The engines are shorter. The intakes look slightly different. Okay. So, but it's the same source model.
They've just simplified it.
But then what's going on with the Phantom? Well, I'm going to show you.
They said, "Billy, you suck. We hate you. This ship's named for you." What was his name? Bill Phantom.
Here is the Wraith, which was a 3D model created for Wing Commander Academy and then reused in Armada.
Good set engines on her.
And there's the Phantom.
Yeah, why does one suck with the same ass end, huh?
So yes, exactly the same ass end.
Same business parts, and yet the same work parts, but the business end is so terrible.
And then if you compare the front
but it actually doesn't look bad
to the front of the cinematic model for the Banshee, also the same. What they have done is taken the front half of the Banshee model, the high-res Scimitar model, and the back end of the high-res Wraith model, crammed them together to make a 5th ship.
No wonder it sucks.
And you can see they did do some slight changes. They changed the intakes. They added the underslung guns.
Yep.
The fin wings are slightly different shape, but that's where it came from. That's how that monster fighter came to be.
By slapping them together. And this is a great picture.
This is a great picture because, with the exception of the Scimitar, which was an update to an existing ship that was kind of unconnected to the rest.
Yep.
All the other ships are the Demon, Banshee, and Phantom are all named after aircraft designed by McDonnell in the 50s and 60s.
Excuse me.
And here are 3 of those, an actual Demon and Banshee and Phantom, all flying together. And you can see, in real life, aircraft do look kind of similar too.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat. And it's my show, so you have to listen to it.
And you get a great evolution of, you can see in just like in all of them, like the cockpit starts and then it kind of evolves, and the engine nozzles change a bit, and the wing structure. You can see how they share this heritage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the aircraft company McDonnell before it became McDonnell Douglas.
Yes, and I don't even know what it is.
McDonnell Douglas Marriott Boeing or something.
Grumman. I don't know. They're all combined. Like, they all bought each other now, so it's like, who knows?
So, one exciting thing that happened last night. So
Hey.
No segue at all there.
Nope.
Is we found the best eBay auction ever to happen, and here it is.
Are they selling?
That's not it.
Are they selling the?
I'm all screwed up.
Oh.
Well, I want to talk about action figures first, specifically custom action figures.
I thought you had found something about. I thought this was going to be like.
No. This is not a setup for anything exciting.
Okay.
I wouldn't put that as the next to last news item.
Well, because I was like, wait a minute, is he going to make a dumb joke about like some of the dumb things we found last night? Because that's not.
No, it's from Discord. We were talking last night.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Never mind.
This is something from Instagram. A fellow named Yoyodyne Toys who does custom action figures. He takes bits of Star Wars people and G.I. Joes and so on, and puts them all together and repaints them and makes other action figures that don't exist.
Okay.
And I just happened to notice that he had made this Deckard action figure from Blade Runner, which is, in fact, simply a repainted Paladin from the Wing Commander movie with a back added to his coat.
Okay. Well.
So I thought that was neat.
Interesting.
And there's the original Paladin. And you can see it. They simply repainted him to be Deckard. But the one that happened last night is next.
Oh, hello.
It showed up on eBay.
It's a woo! Whoa. There's way too many connections going on right there in that picture. A big woo.
This is someone on eBay who does custom action figures.
Oh, boy.
They have taken the body of a Clone Wars Han Solo action figure, popped the head off, and attached a Kilrathi head from the Wing Commander series of toys.
Okay.
And they have created a Kilrathi Jedi, which is currently listed on eBay for 99 cents. And no, I am not the person who has bid on it.
I did not bid on it either.
But yeah, this is a thing that exists, and
okay,
it's funny because I've always wondered why you don't see Wing Commander figures, which are incredibly common. You can still find them in dollar stores occasionally, and they're exactly the same scale and quality as Hasbro Star Wars figure, but you don't really see them used in customs. And now here's two in a couple days.
That is breaking hot news.
There's what the actual Kilrathi figure looks like. He doesn't have his armor.
He looks weird.
And this is the custom that I always figured we should do because it would be so easy. But we really should. I mean, we'll do it for this show maybe. We'll figure out how you do this sort of thing. We really should take a Blair action figure and a Phantom Menace Captain Panaka and make Mr. Obutu in his flight suit from Pilgrim Truth.
Okay, I can see that. That's not where I thought you were going to go with that. I thought you were thinking a lot more painting and stuff, and I'm like, we're not going to do arts and crafts on this.
No, we just have to take the head off.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's different. I was like, he wants us to paint like this guy blue or something. This is going to be like
I
was like, this is going to be a disaster.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will trust my wife, the artist, to do that, not over you.
That's what I was completely confused about there for a second, where I was like, oh my god, what is he thinking? All right. Are we still burning away here? What we got?
I think we're good for Afterburner Slideshow. I will say that...
We've been running Afterburners for a long time. Getting hot.
I will say that next week, we will be talking about the... We're going to be looking right at the sun on this one. But AD has been helping us learn more about the Kilrathi from the Wing Commander movie, the physical models that have been made. And how they built 8 different Kilrathi, 2 that were supposed to be able to move their faces, 4 that were in the distant background, 2 that could sort of move. And we're going to be talking about who they are and what the differences are and how you can spot them in the Fish movie and what got cut. So that's coming up in a future show. And with that, I had a special request from you, which was that we do a gauntlet today, probably because you need to regain some honor that was lost.
Oh, sure.
The last time we did a gauntlet.
For a second, I was like, where is he going with this? But yeah, sure.
And so
Jokey bastards.
We thought it would be fun to try a different sort of competition today, which is the PC Wing Commander 3. Oops, that's Righteous Fire. That's not what I want to open at all. The PC Wing Commander 3 Gauntlet. And we're each going to take it on and see how we do.
And I also, I can't even remember if the last time I had done this too. So, because one of the things I feel like it's always good to not only get try different gauntlets, but do some of these different scores.
Well, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, all right.
So.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking about. We have to we'll have to figure out how to do the alcohol edition soon, because I know we're closing on it in terms of the PC version. But yeah, no, I was just answering a question. They were talking about the F4 and Wild Weasels, and yes, I believe at this point the F-16 does it for the Air Force, and the FA-18 does it for the Navy. All right, so everything's been repaired.
Everything's all set up. I fixed the missile issue.
All right,
we
now,
kept having.
so they throw you in an arrow, huh?
Yep, you're in an arrow, or a Toby, as it is known in gauntlet mode. You see, you don't have a cockpit you can see. Although, if you happen to eject, it does break the immersion because when you see the arrow ejection scene.
In here. It's been a while since I've flown, Colonel.
So the challenge for the
what do we set at? Too? Do you not remember this?
It still is.
Okay, good. Let's say this guy seems not that right.
It's a dark cat.
Yeah.
I think they get progressively harder also. It starts at the lowest AI, goes up. But your guns would be moving if you were at the lower difficulty. Anyway, the Gauntlet in Wing Commander 3 of the PC version. Take a look at the 3DO version too a little bit. But
there you go.
The PC version is basically a 10-minute shoot down as many enemy planes as you can. Either you will be shot down and it will give you the count, or you will get to the end and it will give you the count. And yeah.
Am I assuming kind of normal refuel rules with this one as well? You know,
I don't think it refuels at all.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Trisha says, "Don't not shoot the bad guys."
Yeah. Well, I have to get first.
And
you have to remember.
Everybody
has to. You have to remember. Everybody who is here for the birthday party remembers that the Warthog is something that it takes you a little bit for your arm to get warmed up to move it around.
Is this like at the start of the date where you're telling the lady, like, now sometimes it doesn't work?
No, it's more just like, you know,
it's not you.
That's right. It's not you. It's me. This is just that, you know, when you first grab this Thrustmaster, it takes a minute or two to get used to it compared. Because I've told 1,000 times, I have a Logitech that weighs nothing. So I'm switching to this. Although,
whereas an alpha male, have
right.
an enormous man's joystick.
That's right. That's why you have a closet full of guns to make up for it all. Although I was thinking I should look at it again. Although I do not want one of the newest ones they have, the Eagle ones that has like the gigantic, like, you know,
the Suncom Eagle. That's the new thing.
Yeah. Oh no, I was saying like the one you have, the F-15 Eagle one, so it's got a gigantic top. Yeah, I like the F-16 one, but I like that one this time.
Well, the bad news is society no longer thinks the F-16 is cool.
That's true. Well, it's kind of falling, yeah.
But we also think the F-22 is stupid, so.
Yeah, so you got that going. Oh, I could have gone without that. I did that to myself. I lost all my right arm. There's a speed difference here.
I'm just gonna pop by with
Ooh, hey!
Is your camera on?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, everything.
We just received Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr in the mail.
Oh, shoot.
So now we have this depressing hospital
Hello, what
board
the
game to play.
Well, that
for next week, maybe.
Yeah, you and I could play this. We could all play this when we do Tom Hanks next week.
Yeah, we had the first Tom Hanks movie that we almost gonna suck.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one, guys.
All right.
All right.
Oh, sweet. Dynamite dropping.
A lot of booze and pills on your side of it.
Cocaine's a whole
Time to
drug.
see your bed, kitty.
Shipyard Pumpkinhead Ale.
Those are yours.
Yes, those are out. It looks fun.
Oh no. Now I'm really afraid to use Afterburner now because of this. So I don't know if I'm going to play.
I don't think you get more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So. Oh!
Yeah, Arrow versus Vacdog is not good.
No, not the great, because then the speed advantage of the Arrow, it's not a lot, but it's just enough where collisions become much easier.
Eagle-Eye viewers will note that I finally fixed the DOSBox setting where we were firing missiles whenever we shot our guns with the joystick.
Mm-hmm.
No, your computer screen broke from the virtual enemy. This is a simulation of a simulation that's causing pretend simulated damage to make you think that the simulation it's simulating is extra. It's extra.
Stimulating
immersive,
and simulating? Die, you...
Tell them, not me.
Say goodnight, kitty.
Say goodnight, kitty. Oh, here we go, baby. Damn right. Alright, now then we got going here. Straka? Oh, Pocton's first. Shoulda known. Shoulda known. Two of them. Alright, alright, alright. So we make our way through this. Start you a good distance apart as well, I noticed there.
That's how they get you.
That is how they get you.
Or miss space cross right here. That's why we're having such bad luck. There we go.
Got some speed.
One question I get all the time about the simulator is, what does Toby stand for? The computer here is called TOBI, and it's all caps. It's clearly some sort of acronym, but it has never been canonically explained. And
Oh, jeez.
I have looked through all sorts of
Got a lot of bad guys here.
historical documents,
Oh, wow.
and I found no evidence that there was ever a meaning to it. You know what Toby stands for? Let us know. Not to be confused with Leah's favorite video, so it's two.
I mean, I guess I understand now why they don't give you a review for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is different than other gauntlets where you're going wait, where this is time.
It's different from some gauntlets, but the same as others. I believe the Wing Commander Prophecy Gauntlet is timed in some way.
Yeah, I believe you're correct on that. I almost suggested that one, but I figured it should be saved until we get to it.
Yeah, I don't think I even have the 3FX version. There's also the Wing Commander 4 Demo Gauntlet. There's the Wing Commander 1 Train Sim Gauntlet. I
was thinking we should pop that one in too.
Yeah, we probably should.
I'm thinking the rotation of ones, although because we just haven't played Wing Commander 1 yet, though. So, as odd as that sounds for this program, we started on 2.
We did, yeah. We should do a playthrough of Wing Commander 1. I mean, I did that one all-day playthrough of Wing Commander 1 a couple of years ago.
And I think that was why we
that's why we skipped that. But I would love to go back and talk about it more. And if you can believe it, more has been discovered about Wing Commander 1 since.
This is not going well.
You gotta believe to achieve. Dream your goals, drive your dreams.
Oh yes! Somehow one killed another one. I don't think I killed all 4 Grothy there, because I don't recall. I could have sworn there was 2, but yep, he must have rammed it because that guy died very easily. This is going to be where I die. 4 Vaktoth.
What are you, a World War I poet?
Well, 4 Vaktoths against 1 arrow with nothing to distract them. Yes, this is where I buy. This is where I buy the farm.
That's fine. I think you have gotten further. Honor is intact.
Unless I engage the renegade, I might have to run and flee. Although Rock, he just pretended not to know. Well, you saw where that got him.
He's referencing the
swift
combat in
I'm teasing a little bit there for you.
No, Rock was last week, wasn't it? This is.
Oh yeah, Rock probably was. Sorry, I've been catching because I wasn't here last.
That's right.
So I read through a lot. Oh, jeez, I guess time's up.
All right, 11 kills.
Was
not too bad.
And there's not a timer, right? No, I didn't think so because I was kind of curious.
It's rough. It's rough.
11 kills. All right. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I didn't get blown up by a goddamn Jalki, so it's a good day.
In fact, let me show you how rough the simulator is before I do my game.
Certainly.
First of all, you could look at this. There's all these different training missions. Training mission 1 really just literally destroy one.
That's why I remember I ignored kind of this because it was like these guys
They're
suck.
so simple. This one just teaches you how to transport. I'm not even sure if there are enemy fighters. Yeah. See this one.
Yeah.
Let me run this one for you. And look, this one simulates a Hellcat. So what this is teaching me.
This is like, hey, we need some training sims. We get to throw something together quick, like today.
Well, because the one thing they changed in Wing Commander 3 about transports is that you had to. By the way, rare use of Confederate, say Confederation. You have to fly up to the transport and within a certain range in order to autopilot. So theoretically, this is for somebody who is so frustrated with the first transport mission they can't figure that out. So they go to the training and they learn with it. And here we are at the jump point with nothing else to do. We're purely going to watch this guy jump out.
Look at that transport, fully loaded. I will say with modules.
Yeah, and look at some of these modules, by the way. I
there's
love
some different
the
ones.
Mini shuttles.
Yeah.
At the back, there's a mini shuttle, and there's one.
Wait, do you think that's a shuttle or maybe a?
It is.
Oh, it has
engines.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say it looked almost just like a passenger kind of compartment that maybe had some forward-looking windows, but no shit.
Or maybe it's maybe it just has an escape option, but
no, it's probably like some transfer, like personnel transfer thing,
So this is the Wing Commander 3 transport working as intended.
What I also love is it still hasn't jumped out yet.
Yeah, it's waiting here for it to come out.
Hey, welcome to the most boring thing we've ever done, but at least it's goddamn pretty. I do like the crates with having all the safety tape, even though it's a very simple kind of design. It just looks cool. So you rarely see them with that much stuff on them.
And you never see the Kirathi ship with stuff on them. Which they ended up cutting those. It was bugged to some degree, and so you rarely see them. But it sure is interesting when you do.
Figure that out one day.
What's your status?
No problem, I just scrolled through Discord modding chat. There was a lot of fancy stuff going on. I hadn't looked at it in quite a few weeks.
Well, I guess
So
I don't
this is
actually have to wait for that to
going on.
But let me show you the bug I wanted to show you with the
Sure.
Toby here is that if I eject, suddenly I'm in a cockpit and I'm
Hey.
so Toby can't see me in cockpits except for that one moment.
Well, what are you gonna do?
So yeah, escort transport when it gets attacked. Navigate through an asteroid field, which again is nothing in Wing Commander 3 because the asteroids aren't dangerous.
Yeah.
With enemy light and medium fighters, destroy a corvette with escort, lay mines, which is another one where there's one mine laying mission later in the game, and you can imagine somebody being frustrated with it and need to go back and learn how to do it.
What's weird is I want to say 8 is the only one I ever played like 1 or 2 times. I remember playing it against the Corvette. Otherwise, I don't think I ever played this Gauntlet more than once or twice, and none of the other obvious simple ones.
Well, I'll take a run at the Gauntlet, and we'll go from there.
It's weird we don't get the same score. So I guess the score is just kills things. I guess it's a kill thing as opposed to a score in other ways. Because I was worried about it was going to get a score for my inaccuracy early on. All right, so the score was 11. So that's the 4 Vactol waves. So while we're doing that, we can. What's going on in our chatting world? Let's see. Let's catch up here. But yeah, I am thinking about getting my Logitech watch is going Butte. It is. I mean, it still works fine. I feel like I would like to get a nice Thrustmaster or something.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I have to find stuff to do with this, obviously, with that. You've
Said yeah.
I didn't even think to try to use that. That might help with the Vactoths, definitely.
It would certainly help.
I mean, because the problem is because what's their top speed? I think is like 510 or 515 or something.
Yeah,
they're just slower, so you impact them a lot easier. I would use that motor.
Yeah, look up how fast this Vect does. Also, if you have a wingman in the simulator, a simulator wingman, his name is Toby.
Alright, checking out the birds of the war. $380. Why did I think I thought it was the after. The after is $950. But I feel like I run into Vactoths a lot. The tension is rising in the room as I hear inhaling deeply here. The Vactoths are no joke.
No, they're not.
Especially after you've. Although,
whoa.
What the?
I think I hit my own missile.
I don't
somehow?
even know. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna watch the replay right now. I think you did too, but I don't believe it. You did?
Weird. I've certainly never had that happen.
Did you afterward, right after launching it?
I think I did. I think that must be what I did.
Okay, so
who even knew that was possible? I don't think it is possible in a stock arrow.
I mean, I'm not sure what else could have happened because you see the top of the missile in the lower right corner, and then you turn, and immediately there's the explosion, shake, twist kind of effect. So, congratulations, I guess.
First,
there's one thing this program does: we do find the weirdest things while we're playing, though. I mean, nothing will ever top the torpedo launch that transpired in Special Operations 1, but yeah. was still the greatest bug of all time that will never, ever. Or no, that was that 1 or 2? No, that was 2. Wasn't it?
There's 2, yeah.
Because you shot against Jazz. That's what it was.
Yeah, shot Jazz.
Yeah, your end of Special Operations 1 was just a wacky, crazy series of events. I managed to, after playing that, I don't know how many weeks in a row. Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta be. If anything, you somehow. Well, we learned something in the end.
There you go.
And Vactov waves, no joke. Definitely no joke. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happens after you. I guess you get full packed. I mean, you have to be super fast. All right.
I think at one point you can get a Corvette if you keep going.
If you go after the pocket. I mean, I guess if you're like powering through them, I could see that. Because I mean, after 4 Vactals, 4 Poctons, then what do you do after like a Corvette? I could see that.
That's right.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Good job.
That was different. Yeah, that was fun. That was. It's always nice to try the different and how they also. I mean, it's also interesting to look at how. Let's be honest, kind of. Much they mailed in the simulator in Wing Commander 3.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not lie. There is 100% really like, hey, you get some missions that we show the new guy how to program. Here you go. Throw those in the set.
Well, you remember that for what we're about to take a look at, which is the 3DO version. Which,
to save all of the pain and suffering, I think, I will allow you alone to do this.
Oh, yeah.
All the controls, I'm quite good. I've not played them at all.
Oh, no, I don't think it's even going to... Well, you're going to see. It's going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
So here is... let's make sure that's on screen. Yes. The 3DO version.
Yep.
As before, it's going to be kind of a pain remembering the controls, but we're working on it.
Yep. So, as we last recall, you had... completed the Tamayo series.
I had
seen some differences, which, yeah, I mean,
Oh no, not Tamayo series. We completed the what do you call it? I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. I was mixing up Tamayo and Locanda, which is something I.
For a second, I was like, what system could he be thinking of in between what I said?
Let's talk to Flash.
Apologize for some of the things I
So,
said.
yeah, we finished Tamayo. We beat Flash honestly this time, and here we are at Tamayo.
Or Locanda.
Locanda.
Yeah.
That is a soft spot in my brain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was gonna say, I wasn't here for the exciting, the different scramble missions.
Oh yeah, you weren't here for this.
Yeah, which right when I watched
that.
that, I was watching it later on, and right when it happened, and hearing the excitement in your voice, I'm like, yep, I would have been screaming at that too, because that's what you dream of. Like, that's a great scramble.
Yeah, that's the mission you always wanted.
Yeah, that you don't get, but yeah. So all right, so Locanda, for comparison, I have pulled up the PC. So this is so it's 3 missions in the PC version.
It's 3 missions here too, or
okay.
Kind of 3. Yeah.
How's our volume, everybody, as well? Volume check, sound check, mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Yes, let us know.
Let us know how it is. I mean, I could also be smart.
Hey, look, she said Tango 10 correctly there.
Hey.
So sometimes she knows her window rules.
This is Barbara Miles with another TNC Infoburst. Thanks for watching.
Talk to Vagabond here.
You've been in these parts before, right?
Check our
What is
levels.
Kilrathi have let the system pretty dry over the years.
Sound engineer.
A few months ago, I heard stories about some backwater system that Kilrathi had under siege for months. But after they cleaned it out, they didn't just move on. They dusted it with some new biological weapon. The whole system supposedly a total biohazmat. Really ugly. No one can get near it. Rumor has it, Confed's quarantined that system. Nobody even talks about it.
I can definitely hear your keys and your mouse moving.
There's nothing to worry about. He might be. Nothing the cats do surprises me anymore. If we do our job right, we're not gonna have to worry about that kind of thing.
Sounds actually really good. I'm not gonna lie. Our sound's pretty damn good right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's perfect. I'm not even like.
So if you're tuning in for book club later, take a note of all he was saying about bioweapons and
You know the Kilrathi may be
Bioweapons.
Well, Cobra's excited about bioweapons too.
Kirath has been preparing these kind of
Colonel.
weapons for years.
You know what I hate?
They're not
Your
deployed
furry
here,
friend.
We'll be somewhere else.
You're a bastard. You know what I'm gonna go do? I'm gonna go drink a lot. You know why? Because our bedroom is right next to the bar.
She knows something.
She knows something. She's full of it. She knows something. She's
That's
full
where
of
you're
it.
wrong. It does matter.
We all did that a million times. We wanted to hear how fast he can play.
One of the unusual things about, well, I mean, it's just so easy to know what the right answer is. I mean, this is obviously the beginning of this kind of game making, but even like in something like Mass Effect today, you know what the right one is. It's very rare that it's some challenge to figure out what decision you're supposed to make. Except, of course, in that all-important one at the very end of Wing Commander 4, where you can win or lose the game based on one decision.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily have a good and bad option.
Yeah, that really is just about a personality difference. Yep.
I flew here once. A lot of places to hide in this system.
Blair's now mentioned twice that he's flown in this
This is my home
system
system.
before. Which is
My father
interesting
taught me
because it's not a
everything
story
you
from
know
any of the
about flying
games.
here.
Nope.
You've been planning to pass it
Tell
on to
that
my
story
brother.
from fan writers.
Kilrathi had other.
Maybe it was when he was
Sorry.
an incest.
It's all right. Everyone's
Yeah,
lost
10 years to
someone,
kill.
right? They don't give you medals for it.
You haven't been back since? Well, which one was home?
I like how, you can just pick out which one is your home by, pointing
was
at
a
the dot
beautiful
outside
world.
the window. You decide you're facing the right
Dark
direction.
purple nights and
Sure.
I don't know how to
moons
tell
that
you
chased
this,
each other
but
across the
you can
sky.
pick out which things are
The
which in the night
insects
sky.
Different
Yeah, but I
sounds
mean, just
depending on
randomly
how
being on a
close the moons were.
carrier. I don't know.
My brother and I would stay up listening.
It also may be like a large purple planet he's pointing out.
Do
We
you
just
remember the
don't
time
know.
before?
That's true too, I guess. All right, I'll give you. I will give you that. I won't give you a lot, but I'll give you that. That's fine.
Sir, I have scores to settle here. I can't be on the
The
sidelines.
strange
with
thing
these
about Flint in all these interactions you have early in the game is you have never given her any indication that you're not going to let her fly. Like it's just like she keeps like, you need me as a wingman. You need to let me fly these missions. Like, when have I not?
Maybe she's just trying to really plant the seed.
I guess so. She's kind of like
really
setting up for herself.
aggressively. She's really tilling the ground and throwing seeds left and right. Yeah, your brother's one. This one's for you, Davey. Gotta get those kills because I gotta do the kills the number of your age because that's how revenge works.
Well, that was her dad's revenge plan, and she, you take your dad's revenge plans and you follow them.
Is that what you're gonna do?
I don't know if my dad wants revenge in anything.
Let's get down to business, shall we?
Ready, sir.
But I think you got that
Iraqi
revenge.
intentions in this area remain while we continue
Oh, I love that. Look at that.
to
God,
have
no, I meant
cats wherever
the briefing
possible.
image.
We wish particularly
Those are so
to shut
damn
off
great.
their access
Colonel, let's
to the
sweep this
populated
asteroid
planets and
field.
this asteroid field. Let's try to put these Karathi raiders out of business permanently.
Ready to go, sir.
I like that enthusiasm.
I like that enthusiasm, Colonel.
All right, let's put some raiders out of
these are
business.
the mission
So who do you think I
objectives.
should fly with?
Let's see. What
Oh,
your
and one
choice
last thing.
is. Well, who
I mean, I guess I should fly with Flint. She doesn't want to be sidelined.
in her own system? Well, wait. In the first one, no, I would use her for like the missile mission.
You can't use her for the missile mission.
Oh well. Oh, that's right. Yeah, go with her.
I want you to be on my wing for this one.
I was gonna
Dismissed.
say you should probably next one you should take like Vaquero. Have you used Vaquero yet?
I have used. No, maybe I haven't.
I don't
used
think you
Vagabond
have.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you have actually.
Talk to Rachel.
What's up?
Loadouts, huh?
Rachel, you up? Always. Yeah.
You know I don't trust your loadouts. You're doing a Hellcat. I'm gonna play Thunderbolt.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And no, I don't really want Heat Seekers. I want
Everybody loves them Imrex.
Mix. Yeah.
And you don't want those Pilums because
Pilum.
Pilum, because the warhead too small.
Oh, by the way, listen to that. You can
I can't hear
you
it.
can get Rachel talking over it.
Yeah, it's a big missile
There you
you've
go.
picked there, Colonel.
She basically just said the same thing as you were saying it.
Yeah, well, hey, listen. You understand my experience.
Trying to get, look, there's a little bit of hidden lore. It's the Porcupine Mark III.
Sweet. I wish they had done, like, you know, figured out something more fun to do with those.
And this is by the way where the name Lance for the torpedoes comes from. Just to be our name. I realized I've forgotten to take a look at the sim, like I said I wanted to, and now I can't. So we'll do it when we come back.
This is what happens when we lose our production assistants. We just fall off the rails.
I was thinking that maybe we would separate out book club for the next one and do it on the weekend so everybody can... We'll do it so that Trelane and everybody can come. Because he's been working late.
Yeah, that's true. You know what else I was just thinking too, though? Would that be a way... I can't believe... We have our... Could we pre-record it and then we record, like, we do it amongst ourselves, like stream ourselves and then plop it into the show?
We could.
And then that's like, you know, we could be like real radio hosts, and during that time we could like futz off and like, do other stuff.
It's like a very complicated, a large amount of work to be lazy in a way that would not be necessary.
But no, that would be a good idea. All right, away we go. Those red dots. I really love how they have so many red dots out there because, you know, you have them on your radar.
Waypoint.
All right, what we got here?
See.
There's one thing you playing this game really brings out. It's the sound of your keyboard. 47 keystrokes to do anything.
I really should figure out how to use an actual controller on this.
You really should. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, yeah, you probably should.
Look at the quality of those graphics. They're not as bad as you assume they are when you start playing.
No, I mean, well, they have a moment of, like, oddity, but then when you look at it more, yeah. Like, at first, they're good.
Whoa. Who hit me with this?
Probably yourself. You have done that yourself.
Oh, I have died.
You fighter destroyed. Look at that.
Oh, that's right. The console game. I haven't died. This time I'm gonna remember to throttle up. All these things I just did not bother to look at last time. Full guns. Both those together.
But yeah, no, we could do a, I think a weekend book
Bogies in sight.
segment.
Armed and ready.
And then,
Waypoint.
So, how's chat doing today?
the last comment was Leha mocking your quite succinct commentary. Graphics, not as bad as you'd think, which really seems like a great tagline for a review.
By the way, I got a pull quote in Freelancer, so... Gnuts! Gnuts to you, sir.
There you go. Slamming away through this. Yep.
Oh, good, more of them.
Oh, thank you, War. Thank you for bringing more friends for me.
Oops.
So,
Oops.
As we've keyed ourselves out of.
Armed and ready.
He's back.
Nope.
Not back. Stop hitting Windows. Whatever you're doing. Nope.
Nope.
What have you done, my friend?
Armed and ready.
Just rocking your plasmas.
Waypoint area not secure.
Technical difficulties with control surfaces. Somebody really doesn't like you.
Yeah, and
They really.
I'm hitting Control A to turn on which should change my targets, but it seems to be the also command for bringing up whatever that is in the emulator. So
that weird menu.
That is unfortunate.
Oh, and there we go.
Try it one more time.
No, you have to try till you make it. Sorry, sir. This program does not advance until you pass the first locanda.
What has happened here?
I don't know. Well, yeah, why don't you check to see what you get some.
What is doing that? Is a good question.
I don't know. Something appears to think it's locked down.
This?
No. Caps lock or something? Numbs lock or something? I'd quit and launch her again.
Yeah, I better do that.
Yeah, so just some. Well, they can see that too. The oddity of it just scrolling through whatever. So something got stuck there.
Some kind of technical issue here with the 3DOs.
The O's to the 3's, and the D's. And the O's.
And load the save state too.
Damn you! Why don't you just take care of everything for me, you sons of beaches?
See if I can remap these keys so that doesn't happen.
Probably a good call.
Oh, but look, now
You're still doing it?
Yeah. That
Something
is
has futzed. What the Is something, it's like
maybe it's with whatever that screen I keep going to. So.
But is it like, is your caps lock on or numb? Is it like something weird like that's making it go crazy?
No, I checked.
Okay.
Okay, figure out the Soviet control scheme. Let's reset that one. Okay, up, down, left, right, A, B, C, X, Y, and then we will say left and right. Let's try that.
All right. Away we go. Looking good?
So far, so good. We'll see.
She knows something.
Burning through those combos now.
And Vagabond.
And there's nothing to worry about. He might be right. Nothing the cats do surprise.
What does 3DO abbreviate? 3D. Oh.
I don't think it specifically stands for anything.
Just the future? Only
I flew here once.
3D.
Give her a shot, Flint.
3D. Oh.
Although it does relate to something I meant to talk about, which was a conversation that was going on the forums about why did Origin stop making Wing Commander games? And the 3DO is part of the answer to that to some degree. The 3DO company was started by Trip Hawkins, the same man who founded Electronic Arts. And as it took off, he left Electronic Arts.
Huh. It's, you know what's funny that you say that? Do you know what's NASDAQ stock thing was?
What's that?
THDO. So it's funny you say Trip Hog because it's very clear that he even used his initials as the stock.
Yeah, Trip Hawkins was an early Apple employee who then
Maniac.
he was an early Apple employee who founded Electronic Arts in 1982. And kind of set their initial ethos and was CEO of the company up until the Origin acquisition, but was chairman up until late 1994 when he left to run 3DO entirely.
He looks like a villain in like a weird French movie from his Wikipedia picture. I'm not going to lie. He looks like a B villain.
So yeah, one part of then there were shifts at Origin. There were shifts. 1995, 1996, 1997 was a huge moment of transition in the industry at Electronic Arts specifically, as it moved from its original creator to run by a serious business executive who now has to think of the bottom line entirely. At Origin, where you have the original creative talent who sort of started these series leaving, and in the industry itself as we were switching to optical media and online. And that all had to do with the end of the Wing Commander series.
It has an Urban Dictionary entry, so I'm curious to see what 3DO is. This is fun.
Maintain radio silence.
You got it.
What's going on here, guys?
Oh,
Your controls not.
that's not useful. Yeah, it really at best 3-dimensional object.
Waypoint reached.
Yeah, I don't think it has a.
I think that's not. I think that's just the 3D. Like that's not 3D what it itself stands for, but it could be. But yeah, there's not any real answer to what it stands for. It just appears to exist.
Affirmative, Rick.
Yeah, things didn't go well just then. We're definitely gonna have to try this one again.
Oh, shiitake mushroom.
Yeah, I did not get used to the new controls yet.
Well, I mean, it's okay because you're. Well, part of me wants to give you an excuse, but part of me wants to say, "Damn it, you have a game controller. You should have figured it out." Come on, pilot. What are you, the novel player, or are you the PC player? Okay, that's the question you need to ask yourself. And right now, you're playing like novel player.
Novel player?
Novel.
Oh, novel player. Oh,
Novel
okay.
player. Novel player. Playing like a kid who doesn't know what they're doing and loses missions being dumb. So yeah. Look at that asteroid field. It's like you're flying right in it.
Yeah. I think that's a skybox object, but
Definitely.
there are asteroids in this game.
That's painted different factors. It's What in the hell are you doing?
There's something stuck under my. Whoa! And as you can see, we now have Wing Commander 1 style asteroids.
Hey.
There's something stuck in the keyboard. I think that's what was locking us up before.
Oh.
Here's a triangle transport. We've talked about them plenty, of course.
Yep. You have to do a little turn and dump for it. At least thankfully you have one of the ones where the keys are all so you can either. You probably don't have compressed air to blow it out either, huh? I believe the reason that the cinematics are better are because of the larger CDs, correct?
It has larger CDs lets you have more cinematics. The other thing that is a big improvement here is that we have it's a better codec compression, partially because the 3DO was specifically built for exactly the sort of thing, doing
Autopilot offline. Hazards detected.
Crunching these tape numbers.
yeah, for video specifically. It's the interactive multiplayer.
Missile impact.
As you fire away, it's great to watch your own ship, sit there and tell you everything's destroyed as well.
Yes.
You know, it really, really sends home the message to you.
Oh,
wow.
Okay, well,
yeah, let's give her a good tap. Nope. Well,
no, it's physically like it's not like something.
Oh.
Okay, we got it.
All right.
All right, let me. I'm just looking at I'm trying to learn my keys now.
Yeah, but did you just change it for all those?
I did change. Well, no, this is the actual 3DO, so I'm trying to translate it in my head.
Gotcha, and you've mapped the keyboard keys to the. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
B and up. Okay.
This week's making you earn it. Lokanda's making you earn it. And we're still trying to beat that first mission.
It is.
And Lokanda mission beat you.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Waypoint.
I think the Drolthy in the 3DO version actually looks better than the other Kilrathi ships.
What do you mean?
Better than the textures for the other Kilrathi ships in this version. It just seems like there's more detail on the Drolthy specifically.
Hey, you're dead.
That was a good one.
Missile impact.
One more for the kill board. More kitty litter. Not much today.
There's a lot of keyboards. Which compared to in the PC version, this is kind of a
Yeah, you don't even think about this mission in the PC one.
Alright, but well, yeah, you're burning through. It's backed off. Let's rock out. Those are kind of, a little bit of challenge. But then you're light destroyer. You're not necessarily an easy mission, but not one that's going to stick out in your mind.
One thing that's unfortunate is there is no guide online to the 3DO version, which I guess we should be creating as we go.
Yeah, I feel like if
maybe I'll go back and start that.
I'm not gonna lie, if you're gonna be yelling at somebody that them is us. So
no, I was specifically yelling at us.
Damn us! Yeah, this would be something. That would be there'd be a really deep stream. You and I sitting here going through this is like I'm taking the notes on what's in each point and things, and you're going through them, and we're doing it over and over again to get it all right. That sounds like Compel-A-Vision. I mean, damn.
It's party time. Watch and learn.
What
Colonel.
makes you think any of those things are gonna
Waypoint
help?
reached.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Death on Wing.
Oh,
Oh, Chihuahua, you're up.
it's a tough one.
It is, yeah. This looks like a grind. I mean, you're definitely up against a lot of cap ships, a lot of fighters. I mean, you definitely have a lot going against you here.
And I'm just not picking up these new controls at all.
Well, that certainly seems to be an issue, but I was going to try to, talk around that, but sure.
Would you look up the 3D controls on the CIC and see what break and attack is? Because I don't have it here.
Waypoint reached.
Watch and learn, Colonel. Affirmative. Breaking formation.
Play, pause, and hop. That's break and attack, and
Check your fire,
here's
sir.
attack my target.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm
So, yeah. Play, pause, and hop. So your start button, if you will.
lucky shot.
No, that was me ramming him.
Alright then. Ooh. Bit of a tough spot we're in here.
We'll get it. We always get it. You could look at the lower resolution textures on the Thunderbolts as they fly by, though. There's far less detail on their engines, on their engine drive plume.
You just got smacked.
Watch and learn, Colonel. Affirmative. Breaking formation. I'm Death on Wing.
Well, our wingman died real fast.
Oh, well, that was Maniac, so nice job, Maniac.
No, I had an NPC, just generic Thunderbolt also.
Oh, I saw that, yeah, I saw that guy with the name. Oh, my
I think they're getting us faster every time now.
Yeah, I mean, you first time you're doing pretty well, now you're, you suck,
Not
man.
doing well, yeah.
I'm sorry, you suck right now. You are, I think, yeah, the control change definitely has thrown you through a loop because you were marching a little bit.
Got it.
Not far, but you're still marching. Now you're,
You got it.
oh no.
Yeah, it's not going well.
No. No, Colonel, you are playing like the novel, not the PC version.
Waypoint reached.
Affirmative. Breaking formation.
Hey, Chihuahua. There you go. There you go, you're feeling it. Working it. Sayonara. This is also interesting because you get what I feel is a bit of a rarity in Commander 3. You have different fighters in this at the same time.
No, the Darkhead are the second wave.
Oh, so it spawns just.
It spawns the Darkhead as soon as the.
Gotcha. I was gonna say
the draw.
That's if there's one thing that I feel like with Commander 3, unless you have Poctons being escorted, you don't get a whole lot of mix and matching.
Waypoint area not secure.
There you go. Now you're feeling it. Now you're feeling it. You got friendly fired. I feel like that time.
I think I've been getting friendly fire quite a bit.
I'm not gonna lie, because that you were doing well, and then you just suddenly. I'm pretty sure that's Maniac or somebody just ripped your poor quarter apart. That's definitely what it looked like.
Trying some other options here.
All right.
Try it again.
At first, you don't succeed to. We're not even trying to save Locanda at this point. We're just trying.
No,
to
not yet.
We're just trying to clear that system.
Waypoint reached.
It's also weird that the breaking attack and attacking my target are the same thing. It's kind of annoying because you don't want them.
There's a lot of annoying things like right and left afterburns, but right and shoot changes your guns.
Missile impact.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta get that game. If anything, oh come on! What the? That hold on, I'm watching the replay.
That was my wingman, I think, running to my side, maybe.
And I don't even know because your shields were still up. You still had armor. I don't know what the hell that was. But I guess yeah.
That was me self-destructing accidentally.
Nope. What the?
Oh, I accidentally ejected.
During, I think that's frowned upon if you eject during the takeoff sequence. I really feel like that is looked down upon by everybody.
Well, we want to make some progress, so what I'm going to do is... Series 4, Mission 1. Yes. Suspect that I can just switch this to... Controls... Turn your vulnerability on. See how that works.
Sometimes you gotta play dirty.
Yeah.
I, however, will hide my face so that no one knows that I was here while you were playing so dirty as uninvulnerable.
By the way, the fan broke as soon as you used it for fanning.
Oh no! Oh no! I see that now. Well. You know, it's really...
That's interesting. This could not happen in the PC version.
It is rather seditious. I mean, it's a Chinese...
You can't have flash there when you're... Ordinarily, we'd be locked into just talking to Rachel at this point. So the game flow works a little bit differently. And let's try it in the Hellcat too. Let's see if that...
I am ready to engage. Sighted enemy craft, Colonel.
Waypoint reached.
Everything's fine. There's nothing different than before. We're all taking damage. It's just not the way you think.
I think something is different than before.
What do you mean?
I'm just not sure what it is.
What do you mean in what sense?
Just the emulator feels off.
Oh, like there's something weird going on?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I gotta look into mapping the controls. I always think I'm going to at this point in the night, and then I don't think about it for another week. But surely there's a way where...
I think what this says that we have to have some type of weekend programming. Or we just,
Well, I don't think that's be a program. I just need to program I need to figure out a way to do the shortcuts So instead of Shift AZ, I just autopilot with A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surely there's a way to do that. Like Joy 2 key, but for the 3DO emulator. Running? He seems to be running.
Run away. Run away. No.
No,
No,
not at all.
No Soul Asylum fans.
So this is more Wing Commander 1 behavior. He's
running.
Running.
Waypoint area not secured.
But how far does he have to run before
it
he
breaks?
can autopilot? There we go. Oh, but even though the Corvette has been destroyed, it still spawned the Darkettes when he left.
Well, isn't that nice?
Which again, often in the PC version, you can skip waves of enemies by destroying the cap ship that spawns them. Not so much here, apparently.
I am ready to engage.
Which is one of those fun things. All those, sometimes you want to mess with the carrier when you have one of them in the mission. Another time you just want to keep it out so you can face the extra waves.
Yeah.
But there's something satisfying about going on the flight deck and just racking up all those draw through there. So sometimes it's worth that extra work. To have that fun.
Although not possible in this version since there are no fly-through bays.
Well, that sucks for you then. Sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that.
Sighted enemy craft, Colonel. I am ready to engage.
Waypoint reached.
I am ready to engage.
See, I'm trying to afterburner, but it's switching my guns as I go because there goes our anonymous wingman. You can see they shot the anonymous wingman video with a black screen in the helmet, so you couldn't tell who. You can't see if it's a particular face.
Yeah.
Whereas most all your wingmen have, well, their helmets have labels, and it has the actual actor.
I hope they get the numbers right for some of those games. It's just someday somebody can take all these bits and put them back together again.
Yeah, I would love to see them do anything like that.
Yeah, full color, all the news briefings. That'd be a true remaster.
And look, asteroids like in Wing Commander 1.
Hey.
I am ready to engage.
I go down for my emperor.
That's creepy, dirty bastard.
You know what? The most unintentionally sexual Karathi taunt. Take a bet. I think I have the best one.
What?
Why don't you pick one first? And see.
I mean, I go down for my emperor is pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Now I'm trying to think though.
But think privateer. I shall mount your bones in my hall.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's definitely more of a vintage, like, you have to be somebody of our age, like mount. You know, I feel like mounting is not. It's one of those terms that's kind of fallen out. But yep, I don't know, man. I think I go down for my Emperor is above the mounting your bones in my hall.
Autopilot.
And look, I
offline.
can't.
Hazards detected.
I can't autopilot in the asteroid field. Hooray for that.
Yes, because it's not like this one mission has taken us 25 minutes or anything like that. About, I think.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Got unlimited time.
So here's the light destroyer.
Waypoint.
Very similar, actually, now at this point to the PC version, which does have a light destroyer at this point. Although I don't think our fighter makes
We certainly didn't have 2 triangle transports in the PC version.
Yeah, we did not have the triangle transports at all. Those are definitely add-ons.
Hobbs, I hear you. I don't care.
I am ready to engage.
It's so weird. It's extra bright.
It's extra red. There's more red on the fins.
Yeah, let's say that looks.
One thing I really do miss about Wing Commander 3, or miss about the earlier games of Wing Commander 3, is how the debriefings could be much more specific to what you did. You know, you'll never have a debriefing in this game. Well, rarely, where they're like, "Oh, you met a destroyer," just because.
Yeah,
how it works.
Yeah, how the creation of that stuff is. Yeah. It is funny how game design has gone, where we went from the talking heads to then full motion video to then back to kind of fancier talking heads now. Mm-hmm. You know, and how it gets back on itself. It's interesting.
It's almost like we spent all this time trying to figure out we're doing the original thing again, but we're spending the money on the actors anyway.
Yeah, we want the voices, but not their faces.
Well, even then, we want their faces, and we want to map them to a mesh.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of curious. I wonder how the Command & Conquer remaster is going to handle the FMV. If they're just going to kind of polish it the best they can. I mean, I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I mean, they may have the. I mean, who knows what?
Yeah, what they have saved.
They might have the elements for the Westwood stuff.
Yeah, I'll be cool to see. I mean, although it's still definitely, you know, we're still years away. Hopefully, you know, they'll get it done quickly with all bought copies, and then they'll do Wing Commander.
Although, you know, I've bought so many CNC packages thinking maybe Wing Commander's next.
Yeah,
First Decade!
Yeah.
Oh, the Mega Box, the Generals, whatever collection.
I've never bought any of those, funny enough, and I'm a bigger CNC fan than you are. That's funny.
More Darkit. Like, look how insanely complex this mission is.
Yeah, because it's still freaking going on. It's
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they really made you want to feel like you're clearing out the system here. You really,
yes, you
really,
do.
really are. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Excuse me, I do have high hopes.
What are we gonna have to see? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I feel like if anything, the time for Star Wars stuff creeping out left and right.
Yeah, although the problem there is that Electronic Arts has the Star Wars license, so they don't want to.
Yeah,
they don't want to worry about.
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
Oh, look at the Victory like that; it's beautiful.
Intel says the
All right.
there is increased.
That was the longest goddamn mission of this show.
Reports that Flint was a little wild out there. She been picking up
Like,
pointers from old
that was
maniac,
longer than the end of Privateer.
At any rate,
You know, and that's saying something. That is saying something.
How are we doing for time, anyway?
We are at 1 hour, 49 minutes, and about to roll over to 150.
Nothing.
That's not bad. I figured this point this would be the start of book club, so yeah. Alright, so that was that mission 1 or mission 2?
That was mission 1. But
That's
there's
what I
only 2
thought.
missions. So.
There's only 2 as opposed to 3?
Well, we talked about this last time. The second one is the double length mission.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you have the fog and chasing Flint. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you don't have a third mission beyond that. A mission beyond both legs of the next one. Vagabond, we talked to you last time. Might be right. Barracks. Yeah, we talked to you already. Anybody up here?
The secret operation, the special operations mission 1 ending took more than 2 episodes to beat. That took a lot of episodes, I feel like.
Yeah, that
took 4, 5. It took a while.
It puzzles me.
Sir.
Reports that the
Why is my
Gaddafi
hair
are
not tapered properly? Where's the barber on the ship?
Surrender. Though I know the word in your language, I
Although
still
we will learn the word for surrender.
Mm-hmm.
In Kilrathi later in this show.
Well, yeah, they've literally adapted this conversation into that part of the book.
Kilrathi are most dangerous when they are unpredictable.
Can I spawn Flint again there, or nope?
No, you cannot. Sir. You may not spawn Flint there.
Oh, you know what? Before we fly, though, I wanted to show off the
sim.
The sim, which is very interesting.
Hello.
Look at all this lore text about how you use the simulator, and there's a copyright for the different ones, and you can see the missions are different. There's a gauntlet where you fight wave after wave enemy fighters, and you score based on you'll compare your wingmans and scores. Asteroid mission where you fight an asteroid field, escort mission, and a cap ship attack capsule ship.
Oh,
So
that's there's the reality.
So yeah, and it's called VR Simulator instead of Toby. And look at the lower left. Each one has a different company. That one's from Lylesoft, Batronics, Shellis Software after the great Pete Shellis, and REI Industries.
Isn't that cool?
Interesting stuff.
That's why they pay us
Let's get started, Colonel.
Let's get started, Colonel.
Yes, sir.
You know, they can hear that part.
I know.
I just like to say it too. More questions than answers on.
I just like to say it too.
Some of the Kilrathi forces are pulling out, other elements are closing in on the Condo 4.
The Condo.
They've got warheads tipped with a
Locando,
kind of bioweapon
everybody
spreading an epidemic over the whole planet within minutes. If intel's correct, the half-life of this virus is over 500 years. Colonel, we can't let a single warhead slip through and strike the planet. If the warhead's bio, the civilians of Locanda 4 they'll die slow deaths from a ravaging disease, and all we'll be able to do is pull out of here as fast as we can. Good luck, son.
And everybody's dead.
What's that?
The simulation.
So, these are the mission objectives.
And everybody's dead.
Oh, and one last thing.
Oh no, Cobra and Flint are gone. What could be happening?
Picado.
I like you on my way for this one.
That just little bit of Spanish accent he adds to it is just ridiculous.
Vaquero.
It's like when your dad tries to speak. You're on a trip with your dad, and he tries to speak German because he took it in high school. And
yeah, my dad does that. He'll be like,
all dads do that.
My dad will be like, Achtung, yeah. And I'll start, and I'll be like, you clearly know like 3 phrases, and because I know nothing, you think you know more.
Let me save this case. Duty logs. Save game series 4 mission 2. Alright, let's see what shooting down missiles is like in the 3DO.
Got those in sight, sir. Woo-hoo! Ready to ride the
Oh, it's Deathstroke. Look, I'm fighting Deathstroke. And you can see he has the taunts from the same taunts as the other ace, as Fireclaw. So he does not have a distinct set.
You can't even tell because I didn't even notice it was him either.
Yeah, I don't think he has special textures.
Oh, is he running? He's running.
He's running.
I'm running.
Your comrade has been obliterated. Now you're on your own.
Catch him? Yes.
You are. Yeah, you can. Oh, no, now he's getting on. Oh, no, he's going. It must be Afterburner. Can't let those SOB aces escape. If it was easy for you to taunt him, I'd say just taunt the hell out of him. God knows what keystroke that is. There we go. Who knows what the hell keystroke that is? Yep.
And look, some triangle transports. There are no triangle transports in the PC version of this.
They litter them all over this thing, though.
I guess, you know, they got the transport working, and man, they wanted to show it off.
Yep. I mean, it's a great looking ship. It's a nice, oh, we got a bioweapon.
Yep, you see it's the transports launching the bioweapons instead of the
destroyer?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh, they're not skippers, though, huh?
They're not skippers in anywhere but the novel, I believe. Yeah, the skipper mission and the game mission are totally different.
blurred them together in the old brain. Clearly, good thing you left invulnerable on.
Oh, that's right. I printed it off.
You think you're just rolling through the transport and not dying for no reason whatsoever?
No, I had forgotten that.
Oh.
Nope, more Straka.
I'm sorry, Carl. More Straka for you.
Straka that are far away. Although I will say, just in terms of mission loadout, the layout, this one is much simpler than that previous patrol. It was a killer.
Yeah, that was a real pain in the ass. That was definitely a real pain in the ass.
Area, not secure.
You're asking for it, Garfield.
You hear that talk, guys? That's not in the PC version. You're asking for it, Garfield.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's one we should try to extract. Please don't sue us. Pause.
He's spinning.
Oh, another bioweapon. So the bioweapons are spawning like fighters rather than being launched by the ships.
Mm-hmm. That makes it a bit easier, I'm sure, on the console.
They're also much slower than they are in the...
Yeah, I was gonna say, and they also lack
They take more damage also.
They lack, in the PC they have a little engine flare too.
This is suspect. I mean, the engine flare, I suppose, uses a bunch of graphics power that this console does not have. And you'll see they're very simple on the fighters too.
Yeah. Killed it.
Killed it.
Yep. Well, for those curious about playoff baseball,
victory.
The
Sir, they're going to be naming babies
St. Louis
after
Cardinals are up
Luke on the floor.
7-3 over the Braves
While you
in
were out there,
the
Intel did
middle of the
confirm
ninth
that
inning.
the Karathi warhead loadouts were biohazard in danger. You're clear. Oh, wait a minute, sir. Captain
Washington
Ison's on the comm.
Nationals have just started playing the Dodgers. While the Rams are up 6-0 over the Seahawks in Thursday Night Football. Which will be a very, there'll be one show that'll be very hard for me to keep my full attention as the Patriots play on Thursday night in a few weeks. So that should be interesting, as there'll be random me attempting not to scream and swear as I watch the ball move on a small screen.
I've agreed to go get Flint, so...
Well, good for you. You're a nice guy like that. You're a big softy. No matter what they say about you, you're a big softy going after your win. I don't think you do the same for Maniac.
And we talked last time about how
variety.
Yeah, this mission in the PC version is randomized, but because it's randomized, you can see that there's some little bits and pieces that are left in that you're not supposed to see. Specifically, the scout transport that generates. So let's see if we find anything like that here, but functional. Which in the PC version is just a transport labeled Scout.
Missiles flying everywhere. Missiles flying everywhere. Let's check our zones here. 6.
Oh my god, you're unlicensedly broadcasting football. That's the only thing they ask you not to do.
Damn. Yep. Ripping through dark cats. I really like the look of the dark cat. It also looks like a flimsy piece of crap that should collapse like it does in the game. You know?
Yeah, the little
it looks like
card house.
Yeah, it looks like it. Like I do love the design. I like the edges and everything and the layout, but it also looks perfect for the type of ship that should fold under only a few rounds. Like, you know. Yeah.
And what do we have here?
Jeez, at least pretend like you know how to fly.
Another transport.
You know what we love? Oh, well, listen. I don't know how to tell them to fix that, so. You're traveling at exactly 0 kps, so.
I know how to fix that.
Oh, okay. That's why I wasn't sure.
We're at the point in the night where I finally understand the new control scheme.
No.
More or less.
Enjoy it while you got it.
Like, look how I was able to respond to the victory yes or no. Like, I just did that. I was worried. No,
I just did that. It just came naturally to me. Like I was a trained...
That was the real accomplishment.
Space veteran.
Able to use the comm system. I mean, even the control setup doesn't want you to use the comm system. It's all about, here's the shortcut for the 2 you're ever going to want to do. So that's 3 nav points and still no Flint. Is she here?
Nope.
Nope.
Waypoint.
Wow. Talk about a grind. Locanda is a grind on the 3DO. Damn.
Well, it can be this bad on the PC. You can have this number of random.
Sure, but I mean, but these 2 missions certainly seem like a real hellmarch. Compared to anything else, I mean.
Yeah, we've destroyed a lot of transports in the last couple
Yeah,
of
you
days.
have definitely done a serious harm to the Korathi logistical system with the number of transports you destroyed.
I'm curious to know whether or not there's going to be a cruiser on this one.
I mean, you have to think that's the next time.
Oh, the next one is called Jump Point, so maybe it's locked. There's Flint.
There's Flint.
She's flying a
Hellcat?
Hellcat. That's interesting.
We got 3 enemies I can see here. Dralthi.
So I don't see the cruiser in this one.
I'm looking, yeah. I mean, let's see what happens though. Maybe it jumps in. I can see it being a wave. Let's see.
I suspect they have simplified the Flint nav point to make it easier to actually save her. Because it is very difficult, even if you fight your way through all that, to save her from the cruiser.
Yeah,
but it is a beautiful set piece with her and the torpedo bomber.
Yeah. Up against the Dralthi.
Maintain radio silence.
Just so one more out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch targets now. back tots.
Oh, we have that and a capture of some kind.
Here is our cruiser.
Let's see. No, it's a carrier. Oh, shit.
Well, I stand corrected. I was
okay. No, instead of now they. I mean, I guess the carrier has less heavy turrets, so. I mean, I guess it's kind of an easier target in some way. Sure. I mean, I don't.
Of course, she has a Hellcat instead of a longbow, so.
Yeah, there's that going for you, which is good. You know.
Great music, though.
Where the hell did the carrier go?
Where did that carrier go?
Where did Flint go?
Very good question. I seem to have both disappeared.
Oh, hold on. Oh, shoot. I missed the replay.
Well, we'll have to check it out later. Flint's still around.
I'll go to our super secret replay system.
Need clearance, TCS victory.
Congratulations on roping her in, sir. First a whole planet and then a pilot? I'd give you a promotion if I could. You're cleared, Colonel.
Thank you, Rollins.
It would appear she could kill it, but it could.
I don't think she killed it. I think I must have when I was going to afterburn towards that back top. They must have gone out of the sphere. Well, here's the next challenge for our 3DO.
So she's. Oh no, she's still barely. It's just hard to see on your thing. Is that it?
By the way, check out the amazing loading screen.
Oh, hey, look at that.
I will. First, I'm going to save state, and let's see if we can load the next disc. Open CD-ROM image, and we want Wing Commander 2, disc 2.
Ooh.
Inputting it, and. Okay, well, that's one we'll have to figure out later, but we've saved the state, so we'll come back to that. I'll play with it over the weekend. All right, so who's ready for some book club?
I have to go down on the Emperor.
Not working. All right,
let's boot up
been with us before. Here. Book club is live chat. We're slowly going through the Wing Commander novels, and you can join us. Sign on to the WCCIC's Discord. We have a special audio channel, which I'm going to join right now. Do me a favor, let Chris Reed know he was at some sort of gala or something and needed a message. Here we are. While folks join us, we will start talking Wing Commander.
Alright.
Grab my notes file.
Yep. Okay.
Leha, hey! You gonna give us a voice check?
No, we just not.
Not hearing any Leha.
Nope.
There we go. We hear ya.
Yep. And we have Mr. Reed as well.
Nice. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Yes.
All right. So, usually I start by walking through our chapters, and I will do that right now. We are going chapter 9 through chapter 16, which is the Locanda series. Roughly as difficult as what we just saw in the 3DO.
That's a good way to put it.
Chapter 9, the victory has arrived in the Locanda system. we meet the new character, the bartender, who we will talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes about the bartender.
And then we have the Flint gunnery control conversation about how she's from Locanda, and she wants revenge on the Kilrathi for killing her dad and her brother. Then we have Blair leading a squadron briefing with the various intelligence officers about the situation in Locanda. What are the Kilrathi doing here? We find out that they have evacuated they had a raiding base and they've evacuated it, but now multiple carriers have been spotted in the system, so we're not quite sure. There's this translation that means unseen death, and there's one that means give up without struggle. So intelligence is trying to figure out what's going on, and nobody has seen the Kilrathi act like this before. Then we jump over to one of those great two Kilrathi speaking conversations, and Thrakath and Melek talk about the bioweapons and how it's not normally their way, but they have to do this because they know about the behemoth. In fact, this is the first time we hear about the behemoth. They are, typical evil villain conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is our big action chapter. It's that first patrol that we had such trouble with in the 3DO. The Victory's been looking at it for 3 days. Blair has come up with this new plan where the fuel shuttle will refuel Hellcats so they can extend their range, and they'll be escorted by longer range Thunderbolts. There's another interesting thing we'll talk about in just a little bit. But he's on this patrol with his other ships. They encounter Darkettes, and we have, as similar to a previous chapter, we learn all the Kilrathi pilots' names, and we get a little bit of personal information about each one, and then they all die.
Yep.
And the important thing there, setting up something that the game does not, is that Flint disobeys orders, and she shoots down the Darkette that's escaping. And of course, Blair chews her out because, we wanted one to escape so we could figure out where their base is. Chapter 11. We're back in the Victory. We're in the bar. Cobra is drunk and she's yelling at Blair for being mean to Flint, as fighter pilots often do. And Blair also has the conversation with Vralga where he does not understand why the Kilrathi would surrender anything. Then we have a high-level briefing with Captain Eisen, where he reports that the Kilrathi have moved in 7 warships. They've been spotted, and they have to come up with a plan. And the two of them plan out what they're going to do with the fighter wing. Blair comes up with this idea that they're going to feint an attack on the Kilrathi flagship. There's no chance that they're going to destroy this 22-kilometer dreadnought and its escort of a heavy carrier.
But is it a 22-kilometer dreadnought in this?
It's the Havar Khan, is the...
I know, but, they call it a carrier.
Yeah, it's definitely the dreadnought.
Yeah.
I know. And so they formulate that plan. Meanwhile, Blair will take his Thunderbolts to stop the bioweapons, as we saw in that mission. Chapter 12 is the actual action of that mission. The rest of the wing with the longbows and the Hellcats feint the attack on Thrakat's flagship. Blair and Gold Squadron intercept the skippers. They're skippers instead of regular missiles in this version. This is the first time we hear about skippers. He's mixed those two together to be this one item. Chapter 13, the battle continues. It turns out the Kilrathi had Straka that were cloaked and protecting the missiles the whole time. This fierce battle ensues, but a bunch of the skippers make it through. Locanda is infected by the pandemic, and several of our background pilots are killed. Beast Jaeger and Sandman is missing in action. Chapter 14, the Victory starts sending out SIR wings to try to locate Sandman because he's missing in action. They don't know what happened to him in the battle. They eventually find the wreckage, and Sandman is dead too. Everything is incredibly depressing at this point. Yeah, when people complain about Blair being the first version of himself, which, now that I think about it, is very similar to what people do with Star Wars these days. It is this. Everything seems so dark. And this is where Flint runs off as in Wing Commander 3. Blair chases her down, saves her from some enemy fighters, and they are both rescued by, surprise, Bear from from the previous novels, who happens to have been commanding one of the escort destroyers.
Talk about those carrier hotshots.
Chapter 15, we have a funeral for the 9 pilots who were killed in the battle. I mean, that's almost a quarter of the Victory's complement. So this is disastrous for the ship. The Locanda has been infected. The Kilrathi bioweapon is spreading. We find that they are abandoning the Blackmane starbase, so the Victory is going to go to Blackmane, try to get some replacement fighters, and help with the evacuation. And that's where we end these chapters. And with that, I will say hello to our panel. Hello, panel.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
So, Chris, you want to start us off? Give us your thoughts about this very dark chapters.
Yeah, it is when you describe it like that, it sounds very dark, and it's so much, more losing than in the games when you're just kind of playing through a normal difficulty. I don't remember it being that depressing when I was originally first reading it years ago. I think it's just sort of like the drama of the novel, like they have to do, like you can't write a book like you do a game where everybody, Blair's just winning every battle, and just like we've seen elsewhere earlier in the book. You've got to provide some twists and turns, and this is where we get that big hit.
Yeah, and in fact, I think almost reading through the game script and trying to, I was reading through the script and saying, okay, if I was novelizing this, how would I do it? And the game almost is written to make the losing more interesting, and it's written so that no matter what you do, it's still kind of the ups are responses to Blair being the worst he can be. Like once you get to Ariel in 2 series, and suddenly all the action, everything is turned around. In the game, you don't necessarily feel that because it feels like you've been winning the whole time. So looking at it from the perspective of a novel, you say, "Oh, okay, so there's this second act where things turn around." And I see exactly what you mean. Lehigh, what do you think?
This is really the meat of the novel in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does it take, so much happens. We have, we're introduced to the skipper missile in the book, though it's, later on than it is in the game, and the writer condenses the 2 plot points, which I thought was very clever of him.
Agreed.
It saves time and space, and they're really 2 very similar ideas. So when he condensed them, it really adds to the flavor of the story in a lot of ways.
And in fact, it's a case where the writer may be a better game designer than the folks making the missions, because adding the more complex thing later in the game does kind of make sense, both narratively and gameplay-wise.
Yeah. The book, this part of the book also introduces us to a whole bunch of people that are kind of, I don't want to say they're thrown out there because it makes them sound disposable, but some of them are. But we also hear about the ship's chaplain, he's the first in Wing Commander, or at least in the novels. And there's something that I would like to discuss after we've gone through some other points, because I think this is really the part of the novel that illustrates Blair the most, but only in hindsight.
Yes, I think I know exactly what you want to talk about there, and I do have it in my notes.
For me, one thing that kind of jumped out where you guys were talking about the darkness in a lot of this is, and I've mentioned it before, prior on Discord and stuff, is the amount of drinking they're all doing. I mean, if they're not in space or not on the bridge or in the briefing room, they're at the bar. And they're not at the bar like hang out, they're at the bar drinking. And everyone's also, and they always mention about, who's paying for drinks and things like that, and downtime, the kind of incident with Cobra. Those really jumped out at me, and the way when Blair hears from his pilots, it sometimes comes off that he's naive how human beings have emotions. Like with Flint, and sometimes when he's, listening to her about her vengeance, and he's like, how could someone be like this after 30 years of war with 2 of their family members dead?
Yeah.
That seems really strange for somebody to feel that way. And
he had the same reaction to earlier in the book. How could people hate the Kilrathi?
Yeah, and that's what's even weird, that it's still going on, though, that now he's having these emotions again with Flint. One of the things I noticed that you put in your notes as well, and I wrote down too, was how Thrakath has suddenly started to act like a person he really, really hates in Jukaga.
Yes, Thrakath has absorbed Jukaga.
Yeah.
And you could say that this is not knowing the character, or you could say that this is Thrakath Victrix. He has beaten Jukaga and his clan, and now he can do Jukaga's smarmy intellectual act. You see, I have studied the Kilrathi. I have studied the Terrans. And there's nobody else here to say I haven't.
That's right, because they're all dead. The other one that kind of popped up to me, too, is when there's bar scenes, is that there's constantly random women from other departments that are being kind of flirted with or hit on by the pilots, and it's always being referenced by Blair. that he's like that Keith is always letting you know there's other parts of ships. Oh yeah, a woman from the engineering department is here talking to Flash or so and so, and those things. But my general impression is that it's hard to go through these because you're so used to winning that when you see the struggle and see them failing, it burns a bit, and then I thought it was actually kind of touching to see to see Maniac get a little bit of kind of humanity and regret over Sandman. When you see him at the funeral.
Yeah, very much so.
I have some comments about the about Mr. Rostov, but I think that's a bigger discussion for later on.
I do want to follow up on a couple of things you just mentioned. And let's start with the drinking and Mr. Rostov, because this is one of the more ridiculous things we should point out.
Yeah. I've seen you before, friend.
Rostov is someone who... It's such a weird character because it's like they balled up a bunch of random bits of Wing Commander.
Yeah.
Not even in any sort of logical way. I mean, first off, he has Shotglass's backstory. He was on this ship that was destroyed, but he wants to stay in the service, so he's now the bartender. I mean, that's Shotglass from Wing Commander 1.
Which is weird that the bartender is even in the service.
He's survived the Leningrad, which is a Gilgamesh that was destroyed in a flashback in Freedom Flight, the first novel, which, that's pure continuity porn, and it was destroyed by Hobbs, and so there's this pre-built. They know each other.
Yeah,
but then things kind of get surreal. His nickname is Bear, despite the fact that there's already a main Wing Commander character named Bear. And one named Blair, and that both of them are in this novel.
Yep.
But his last name is one of the systems from Wing Commander 1.
Yep.
So it's like they're just squashing Wing Commander stuff into this somehow. And I suspect it's all accidental, but it's this weird...
Out of all the coincidences to have,
Yeah.
Quite coincidental.
Yeah.
It's truly a coincidence.
But then...
And I think
let's talk about his appearance.
Yeah, and this is really where you're like, did he forget what he just told us about him?
Well, so if you read these Star Wars books that do things like take one background character, like Tales from Mos Eisley or something, you're like, oh, then thematic here almost. But you're like, oh, that rat thing in the back. Leha knows what I'm talking about. That rat thing in the background, that's actually named Tikrit Tum, and it's from the Ulsider system, and it was on this adventure, which is cool. I mean, nerds love that, and it's fun. But
this is ridiculous.
If there's one aspect that it's very difficult to predict the background actor who you know will exist. Obviously, he was going to have 2 arms in the game.
Yeah.
There's no reason to think that anyone
a bartender should have 2 arms, no matter what you're doing. There's not many cocktails you can make with one.
But they point out that he has only 1 arm, and then he describes him over and over again doing very 2-armed things. He gestures, he picks up the glass, he types in the things. It's so weird.
Yeah, he forgets it if he does it.
He doesn't make you a Rostov Sunday.
No, that's true. I don't get why he also just simply doesn't have a new arm regen. I mean, what's he against them or something? He only likes the real deal or something.
Well, Wing Commander goes back and forth whether you can do that.
Yeah.
Like what happened to Shotglass seems fine. Why can't he fly?
Yeah.
Then there's like this one little bit of icing at the end of this very weird cake for this character who we will really never see again. Is that he knows Blair, so he's this kind of Mary Sue character where he knows everybody and everybody loves him, and he also, just because of his name, we're supposed to put this all together. He refers to people as comrade, like he's a movie Soviet.
Oh, yes, comrades. From Rostov, either way.
Oh, he's Russian, so he's just comrade.
That's why I was in the Leningrad.
It's just a very weird character portrait in general.
Yeah.
So the next time
Leningrad was a ship full of Russian comrade people just like that.
Yes, and you can tell that must be the connection they made. It's, Russian. The ship had a Russian name, so it must be full of Russians. And despite the fact that the Cold War had ended at this point and there was no more communist Russia, it's still going to survive 600 years.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
Anyway, I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about Rostov, but that really struck out at the very beginning of the first chapter to me.
One thing that jumped out to me is I even wrote down the quote was when Blair walks in and there's very few people in the bar and he's surprised that no one's at the bar. And again, we're on a warship near the front and Blair's surprised that because I feel like the bar gets treated in this book almost like your corner pub or something, down the street from the factory where everybody goes after a shift, lets off some steam, and then goes home for the day, which is kind of weird how it's very British, but...
One thing you may notice is that all of the gun control scenes get moved to the bar. So,
yeah. Well, it's funny because I actually right below, Flint in bar, not in gunnery, was the quote with the line right below this, but the one line that jumped out at me was, quote, "Don't tell me none of my drunks are not hanging out here tonight." Wait, so... You're aware that some of your pilots have an alcohol problem, and you're keeping them in the cockpit?
I think it's just Q-friendly, Blair. It's banter.
Sure, but it was very weird that he was, because it's not the first time we see them, because we see Maniac over drinking at one point just before this,
and we're going to see Cobra. That with Cobra after this.
Yeah. So we see it something kind of over and over again. Although one thing that jumped out to me when they were talking about the Kilrathi fleet is that Keith was probably thinking of like nuclear carrier battle groups, which are significantly smaller than World War II ones, where it's talking about only having 3 carriers and it is simply 8 escorts, which seems so little. But today, a carrier battle group would have only 2 or 3 escorts for the ship,
which it does match the cutscenes. There's like 3 or 4 escorts for the Kilrathi carriers. So unless anybody else has any thoughts on Rostov, I wanted to pick up one of the other things you talked about. And I think this may also... Well, first of all, let's talk about what Lehigh was talking about. I think. You'll have to tell me if I'm wrong. But this is the first time anywhere we really get a good idea of what Blair's actual job is and how he's good at it.
Okay.
Blair's the wing commander of the Victory.
Okay.
And in the game... He's basically a message boy. He goes to Ison, and you get the detailed briefing, and then he goes to his pilots and he tells them what they're doing. He tells them that briefing. Here, we see him running the meeting with the intelligence officers, looking at all the information and talking to the different squadron commanders and trying to figure out a plan. And we see him with Ison having these conversations, not about, you shouldn't fight with Flash. It's, hey, what if the Kilrathi are moving here? What if we take this strategy? Blair's an active participant in the flight wing planning in a way you are not in the game, and you cannot be, I suppose, in the game.
Right.
Yeah, personnel choices, there's a lot of wingman choices in earlier chapters of dealing with Hobbs and putting Flash and Cobra and things like that.
Yeah. But now I get the sense that's not what you were thinking of. So tell me what you were thinking.
Well, I'm not sure how far ahead we wanted to get into the storylines.
No, feel free to go ahead.
Well, do we want to discuss, presuming that our audience has already finished the game?
Yeah. No.
In this case, then, I would say, this has always been something that's been in the back of my head about Wing Commander 3 as a plot, in that each wingman kind of represents a different facet, maybe, of Blair. And I mean this in a very broad sense. This is not meant to be a psychological breakdown, but in the same sense that, Hobbs represents a certain amount of professionalism.
And history.
Right. And, like, Rachel is a certain amount of, like, libido, and every character kind of fills a different aspect in the gameplay flow. Flint is kind of an opposite of Blair in that they're both pilots, they both go through similar tragedies, but in this part of the story, Blair is pretty blind to what she's going through, which I think is why he's kind of tone deaf.
Very much so.
We keep talking about, well, why doesn't he understand people's racism? Why doesn't he understand his, bigotry? And we see, not foreshadowing, but Flint's story right here, this little self-contained plot, is not what's going to happen to Blair, but it's kind of like a precursor.
It is?
Kind of a shadow to it, in a sense.
And interestingly there, Blair stole a saber and destroyed the Kilrathi headquarters in the Enigma sector, not because he had to save the day, but because he wanted to prove himself. He has definitely flown angry before.
Yeah, certainly.
Yes. And there's also another small part that I wanted to bring up before, because you guys were talking about the drinking aspect.
Mhm.
There's a part of the book that I think fills in a better way of plotting than the game can, and that is that in the game, when you're playing it, everything is about the plot.
Mhm.
It's always Blair interacting with Hobbs, Blair interacting with Toll, and so on and so forth. But there's the part where Cobra is drunk in the bar,
Mhm.
and she goes off on Blair because of how Blair treated Flint, which shows that there's a nice level of interaction between characters behind the scenes that we normally don't get in the gameplay. You know, it's always plot oriented in that sense, and that makes sense because, you know, of the era that this game came out and how complicated it was to plot.
Yeah, and
it allows a certain amount of gravitas.
I think that's almost even adapting something you see in the game script, which is that Cobra rescues Flint. There's that very brief conversation where if you fail to rescue Flint, Cobra does.
Yeah, that's right.
And they have this like sistery conversation where it's like, "You okay?" And yeah, I think it's very much expanding that. But you're touching on something the book does throughout, which is it takes the game is very blop. Like we saw earlier. We had two conversations about bioweapons and then a mission about bioweapons. And the book takes that goo and it pulls it all the way forward. So now it's this much bigger arc, and it leads up from thing to thing. And the drinking is absolutely that. In the game, it is an important plot spike in Act 3 when Blair becomes an alcoholic. You have to choose suddenly, is he just going to get drunk before the scramble mission?
Yeah.
The book is setting that up way earlier. It's foreshadowing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put out a couple of notes I liked. Well, first of all, Bear is back and for some reason commands a destroyer now. Odd discontinuity about the... It's an odd discontinuity about the escort destroyers. They're still the Coventry, the Ajax, and the Sheffield.
But they're not the same, at least.
But they're all destroyers instead of one cruisers. Except the Coventry is described as having fighters like cruisers. So it's similar to the disappearing Hellcats, or the disappearing arrows. We've got intel with 2 L's throughout, which was something that Origin did in the actual game because they were worried about being sued by Intel, the company. Which...
It seems kind of ridiculous, but I guess, okay.
Yeah, when you see it written out more instead of just occasionally in a caption, you're like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous. Flint's backstory gets changed a bit. Spoiler for the game, but her dad isn't dead in the game. She's going to get a letter from him later, and they casually chat about Blair. But here he died at age 57, and she wants to get all these kills to revengeate him. We talked about Thrakath taking on Jukaga's qualities. He's studied the humans. He understands. I call it a cackling villain conversation when I brought it up, but that first Thrakath and Melek talking about the bioweapon is super interesting. Because it has a couple of functions. One is to take this idea of the bioweapons and set it up so it makes sense. We've seen so many different crazy Kilrathi weapons over the time, including bioweapons a couple times, and now we're getting a little bit of Irish on it, where we're seeing, the Kilrathi don't really believe in this, but they believe that they're threatened by Behemoth and that they have to do this, and it does add some subtext to what's happening in Wing Commander 3. Rather than just, they suddenly decided to be evil for this one day. But it occurs to me, it reminds me of, we see the... well, let's talk about bioweapons in general.
Bioweapon.
Yeah, right or wrong. How do you feel about the Kilrathi use of bioweapons? Let's say that first.
One thing I would like to comment on is a line that jumped out. I forget if it was when they were talking with Rollins. I think it was Rollins, where they first talk about they start introducing bioweapons, and he puts it through the lens of this is one way the Kilrathi can eliminate human populations, but also keep the technology and infrastructure and use that for their own benefits, which I thought was an interesting thing because we very rarely hear about the Kilrathi wanting to utilize Confederation wealth for its own advantage in that regard. Typically, we think of they level and they put their own things on top of our wreckage as opposed to utilizing.
Although we do hear all the time that they're a slave race and
Sure.
they would like
that
base of human slaves.
But we don't see it in terms of them trying to save the stuff as much. But yeah, but then we have, of course, the grand question of, when it comes to NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical weapons, and how that's a line that you kind of try to stay below because of the box it opens in terms of, you can't essentially de-escalate a war from that level.
And Thrakath literally says that. Despite having seeming no understanding that it's directly contradictory to what he's doing. But he says, it can't be traded one homeworld for another. If we lose our homeworld, it's a much bigger deal than if they lose Earth.
I wonder if he fell on his head in the last 3 months and forgot about what he was just trying to do. And
I guess he learned from Jukaga.
From seeding worlds of Strontium 90, making them uninhabitable. Nuking, a dozen northern hemisphere cities.
There was one part where I didn't recall seeing it. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some weird parts to the bioweapon that Eisen in the game refers to. He says the bioweapon is going to cover the planet in minutes, which means it's going like thousands of miles per hour. So maybe there's multiple missiles launching it at the same time. But
they said at least 5 hit.
Fast. Yeah, they had 5 hit. Yeah.
It still seems like this virus is somehow going at thousands of miles an hour across the surface. And then also that the virus has a half-life of 500 years, which is a little weird.
Again, that's not what a half-life is.
Yeah,
it's not what a half-life is. And
I wonder if that just comes from that because it's so contagious and its fatality is 100%, that just simply being in the biosphere with it, even if you're on the other side of the planet when the missiles explode, it's essentially that you are contaminated just by default, that they're so paranoid about even a single cell or spawn of this virus leaving the atmosphere and the destruction it could cause, that that's the kind of the end all be all. So I feel like that's what they're also kind of referring to too. That just simply once the missiles explode, it doesn't matter where you are on that planet, like you're stuck. Like they're so paranoid.
So happy coincidence! It is an excellent setup for Wing Commander 4, where Tolwyn is taking the Kilrathi way of life and saying this is the thing to do, and making the bioweapons more important. Certainly explains that a little bit more.
Sure.
I think it's also very the conversation with Thrakath and the making them much more important. It's very much setting up for the sort of odd moral at the end of Wing Commander 3, which is in the game, we have the behemoth and you think it's a bad idea, you think it's immoral to blow up the enemy's homeworld, and then they kill your girlfriend, and now it suddenly is okay to drop the bomb.
Everything's cool.
So we're kind of setting up, the books, again, is setting up much earlier the idea that maybe it is necessary. We also have that conversation about Kilrathi organization, where he's setting up very early on that, yes, destroying the Kilrathi homeworld will be a big deal, because they are run from the top, and individual warriors won't know what to do, which again is something that's hard. Paladin just kind of says it casually in a briefing right next to the end of the game.
It gets introduced multiple times here because even Thrakath brings it up when there's conversation with Malik.
Yeah, both bring it up.
Yeah, and then Blair brings it up during the attack on the Kilrathi fleet. Right, talking about how I'm going to send all of these fighters after Thrakath's flagship, knowing that's going to cause a certain response from the Kilrathi defensive forces while we go chase the missiles.
Which is so cool. I mean, again, that's what I was talking about Blair having an actual job where he figures things out. Which, and it's also cool because you can read the Kilrathi psychological profile in Victory Streak, and Keith is clearly looking at that and saying, okay, how does Blair use that information? And, here's a great quote from Melek from one of these bioweapon scenes. The stalker is loose among the meat herd, Lord Prince. It's a 90s ass quote if you ever heard one.
Yeah. I did like how we also get, we get the two Kilrathi pilots perspective. We get Arak, who of course suffers his own fate for wanting to take down Hobbs. But then we have the second one, who Bloodhawk leader, who suddenly goes through this kind of quick analysis of Thrakath and the Emperor and how they've really been screwing up the world. And if only a few more things go bad, then it's ripe for revolution. As he's flying a combat mission with his young nephew who dies, and he doesn't really care. It's weird.
There's a certain very enjoyable screw you to these Kilrathi pilots. The first time it seems like we're introducing this ace character who's going to be the Red Baron, and he's going to face off with Hobbs and Blair throughout the book with Iraq, and then sure enough, they survive the mission and they go back to their carrier. We're like, oh, that's great. Yeah. Here's a new character. You're going to see the game from the opposite perspective. Nope, executed. Yeah. And then we...
Politely, though, he had the best execution.
And then we start to do it again. We start to go up that roller coaster just a little bit again. Yep. And like, oh, here's this guy. And his nephew is here. And his brother is this. And all this information. And surely this is going to be the Kilrathi pilot we keep going back to. Nope, they all die immediately. In fact, the point is that they extra die. Flint extra kills one of them. And the little children, too.
Yep. Yeah, it's so... It's just funny to have, though, he's in the middle of... And then here he is reflecting on the political situation of the Empire while following out orders. Such a weird thing they have right there, yep.
Which, by the way, Peter Tellep will steal in great amounts for... it's a trick for expanding out a novel. You're expanding out a script. You say, oh, what's the other character thinking? Let's look at that. Then Tellep does that extensively in his books.
Yep.
But he is not so casual. He's not so good at just letting all his characters die, which Keith is enjoyably good at.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he murks a lot of people, and I don't think he keeps that up throughout his books.
So here's a quote that I especially like.
I have that written down too.
It is when we finally find that Bear, the original Bear, the
Bondiversi.
classic Bear, has saved the day, and he says the message that's given is, oh, it's to make up for that time off New Sydney. And that's another one. Like Blair and Locanda are leading his crew. Like, what was that? When did Blair and Bear have this adventure? So that's one to fill in later.
Yep.
But I love those world building things.
I just like how he also, the message along with New Sydney, includes the pilot relaying that Bondiversi called them carrier hotshots at that point.
Yeah.
As he's been pushed out into...
commanding a destroyer for some reason, question mark.
He's been kind of blown out of the fleet for reasons that aren't exactly clear. Then later we'll see what happens to him while he commands that destroyer in a later novel.
And one little bit I thought was particularly... apt. Oh my god, I'm someone who says apt in a book club. Please shoot me. But apt for today's society was at the very end of our chapters where we're having this propaganda conversation and they're watching the news and someone says to a lieutenant says to Rollins, "Shut it off, radio." Blair recognized him as one of the carrier shuttle pilots. Always the same old line from those cat simps, that's fake news.
Yeah, those media jerks.
But if anyone should be able to see that the news briefing about Locanda being destroyed by that bioweapon is accurate, it really should be the people who were specifically at that battle the day before.
Who even are brought up. They mentioned that we were just there as well. Yeah, we get a little of that the sewing circle with Rollins at the table there.
But it's very very modern idea that you can just decide the news is the way you want, and it is that way.
Yeah.
I have.
There was one quote that was one of Flint's spoken lines in flight, where she goes, "You really nailed him, Colonel," and somehow they included that in this book, and so that means they had access to the not just the shooting script, but the dialogue script for the in-game stuff.
Yes, and in fact, we have a copy of that script on the CIC with all the wild lines included, which would have been the same one that Andrew had. Here's a quote that really stuck out to me at the funeral, which is, you mentioned, and by the way, one great thing about this chapter, which I think someone already mentioned, was that we see all these other roles in the Victory, and they're things that make sense. Of course, there's an intelligence officer.
Yeah, they're always dropped in little areas.
Yeah, deputy squadron commanders, people who run the other squadrons.
The cute redhead in the, in that,
the flight boss and so on.
Yeah, the air deck boss, and then his members up there.
But we have this 9-person funeral for some people, and it ends Watch over them, Lord. Lord is capitalized, that they may find peace who died in the fires of war. In the name of Jesus, amen. Like, that's the least future sci-fi society face funeral I've ever heard. And it's especially because, some of the names of the characters, they really do not seem like...
Yeah, I know.
It's like Lieutenant Mobutu. It doesn't sound like a good Christian 27th century man.
Yeah.
But just it's always weird when there's this tiny dose of serious religion in Wing Commander, and it's always in the fortune novel, and it's always just little specks in the background, like when the captain of the Masada itself is saying the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Stuff like that is always...
Well, yeah,
it sticks out.
Yeah, well, yeah. When we get to Action Stage, we can talk about how much all that shit is really pulling on Israel. There, he was definitely in his Israeli phase at that point in time. Diane and all the seeing all those famous Israeli 6-Day War and Yom Kippur War heroes. Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing, Blair's great strategist is coming up with a fuel shuttle. We joked last week that he invented fuel shuttles, but this week he actually figured out something definitively new to do with them, to specifically have this particular formation of a fighter wing where it's short-range ships with a shuttle protected by thunderbolts for a armed patrol. And again, that's the kind of thing that you will read about in history books later, like, Thatch came up with this maneuver to shoot down the Zero, and Blair came up with this new thing that's going to
extend the range of your shorter fighters, and certainly,
I really like Blair as an independent, thinking person.
Yeah, you can get Keith is injecting some of that, the doctrinal ideas he knows from writing about the kind of Cold War and more modern warfare books. That he's trying to kind of plop those things in, because for us it seems like, well, duh, refueling shuttles, but they've also never seen them, so he's plugging something in new, despite the fact that the idea, even in the era in which he wrote this, was obviously old.
The other bit I wanted to point out about the bioweapons is comparing them to other times we've seen them in Wing Commander. One of which is the description of Repleta, where the battle just becomes so desperate that they start using bioweapons just hoping to end it, which is literally what is happening here. And again, he may have had Victory Streak in that timeline and said, oh, that's interesting, I can mirror that here. And the other is on Both Your Houses from Wing Commander Academy, where the entire episode is about the morality of the Confederation using a bioweapon, and Blair at age 23 says absolutely not. And then just keep that in mind as we move on to Behemoth and the Tembler bomb and so on.
I feel like, another 15, 20 years of war tends to dull the sharpness of your opinions when it comes to things like that.
Well, you would think so, and I would think so, but based on Blair's inner dialogue, he doesn't think so.
Yeah. Well, he also doesn't understand why people would be space racist or want revenge. So, I mean, he seems a little bit emotionally inept, if we're being honest here, okay?
A little bit on the spectrum.
A tad. He seems, and he's in charge of 40 fighters. All lovely.
No, just 31 now.
Yes, 31, yes.
Was there a new unit of measurement thrown in here? I saw a reference to an octomach. That shows up elsewhere.
Actually, it shows up in Armada in the manual.
Voices Award thing, I think.
They use. I know they have measurements. I didn't know that they
I think they do. I'm going to check to be sure, but I think they use Mox and Octomox.
Yeah, I want to say it was but it might be a slightly different spelling?
Let me check.
I forget, but yeah. So we get some Octomox and
Octomox.
It's
fun to just say it.
Yes, it is. It really is. Yep. Yeah. Although I haven't really been paying too much attention, but has Andrew been doing better about? Well, I guess we would need Mike to tell us this to help out with the Kilrathi number system. Is he doing? Although he hasn't done any big numbers.
They don't use them much in this.
I mean, I know
not compared to.
I saw an 8 and 2 at one point.
That's a much more logical way to think of it. When it was just 8 and then some other number. That's
because he had 8 of 8s or something like that. Yeah, because he didn't have any big numbers.
Okay, I'm looking at this right now.
Zarmok.
That's thickness of armor. Zarmox. Octograms is mass. they have grams, but not.
Octomox, right there, yeah. Octomox.
Yep, Mox and Octomox.
Octomox per second. Yep.
Octomox per second.
That's fantastic continuity then.
Yep.
With Armada.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was in the Bible's little Kilrathi terminology bit, so that's where that came from.
Well, I feel we should also add the fact that, we have now Tra-Ra Nagath. Or grand prize
words
without struggle.
Which I certainly loved as a teenager, because you would pull out these Kilrathi words and you would add them to your lexicon, and it was so much fun. There's something terribly fun about coming up with a language based on only little bits of it.
I just like how Hobbs has to spin his wheels for a second, like, wait a minute. I understand these words, but in this context, they don't. And it's like, closest translation is grant prize without struggle, which is a great way to describe surrender if you don't have that term in your language.
But of course, it doesn't mean surrender. It means they're taking the planet without fighting for it.
Yeah. Well, they surrender, tomato, whatever, right?
Surrender, yeah.
Surrender. What are you gonna do? Trying to see what other weird little notes I have. It's funny how we tend to, like, all of us tend to notice the kind of sort of similar things, but in different ways.
It's almost like we've spent a lot of our time together the last 35 or so years.
That's true, yeah.
30 years or so, whatever.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to think if anything else jumped. I have no skippers. Everything else I just have normal comments.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got my, normal details. I did think it was interesting, though, that Keith, when Bear's people show up, it's Bondaversky twice. They don't used to call it Bear.
I think you could probably miss that his nickname is Bear if you just read a very quick description of him, or if you rush through just Fleet Action.
But yeah, it was weird that, well, I guess, speaking back to that, is that the Sheffield and Ajax are described not only as destroyers, but as destroyers as old as the Victory. Mm-hmm. So we're part of this...
they're not new...
Crappy old...
Sorry, fan community.
Yes. We're in some crappy old battle group that's fallen apart, when the Coventry gets a Taft squadron. But yeah.
And I guess we probably should have pointed this out in Greater Wing Commander 3, but you want to tell us about the historical reference with the Sheffield and the Coventry is...
Oh, they're both British cities that are, one is destroyed, firebombed, or not firebombed really, but attacked. They're both attacked during the Blitz. Coventry is actually bombed, even though, if I remember correctly, that's the one they have the forewarning, right? I'm helping you. You're European too, so.
Well, that's interesting. There's that scene in 2010 where he's asking Hal, "What is this?" and Hal gives like definitions of a phoenix, and it's something weird, and it's like, I didn't know that. That's interesting. In this case, the reference actually, I'm pretty sure, is Sheffield and Coventry.
Oh, the two destroyers.
The two destroyers that were lost to the Falklands. They got hit with Exocet missiles.
Oh, okay. Because what's funny, right when you said that, I was like, wait, I wonder if that's also because Ajax is one of the cruisers that goes after Graf Spee in that same region during the early part of the Second World War. When Graf Spee goes into Montevideo and then they scuttle it out in the River Plate. I was thinking that because I was thinking Chev, but yeah, no, that makes more sense for Keith. With modern sense, would be they're both hit by exosets. Yeah, they both get hit by exosets. No, I was thinking, Coventry getting bombed and the British essentially not saying anything about it despite having a warning because they didn't want the Germans to start hinting that we had broken Enigma and things like that. And Sheffield also, I believe, is bombed to a lesser extent. Things you learn.
Another thing that's interesting to point out, and we'll spoil the rest of the book and the game and so on at this point, but one of the reasons you see Bear appear and you're almost like, what the hell? That's a little bit too fangasmy. That's
you're servicing me too much.
Here. Yeah, but there's a reason for it, and it's interesting that we have that he's thinking about this, which is that Tolwyn is sending his best people to this podunk battle group.
Sure, okay.
He's intentionally put Bear here. It's the same reason he's put Blair there. Same reason he's put Maniac and Hobbs. They're his best people, and he wants them for Project Behemoth, which is, I think, something we should probably bring up even more next week when we in fact, I guess we even hear it this week that they made the decision to go ahead with this war-ending weapon, as if it was something suddenly new and available. And we're going to find out, even only in the background, that that's not the case.
Yeah, no.
Tolwyn has been, before the Kilrathi started using bioweapons. Oh, that's another one I wanted to point out about these chapters. There is this one moment, of course we have this scene later in these chapters where Blair knows that Angel has died because he has this vision. But there's also this brief moment of hope where they're at the briefing about the bioweapons, and it's the moment of hope and everything.
Oh, yeah.
We have a plan now. We're gonna we think we can save the day. It's the high moment of hope in the book, and in these chapters, in the Lacana situation, it very quickly goes south. But there is this point where he says Eisen tells Blair, "Oh, this information came from one of General Taggart's operatives, and it's fresh information. It just came in." And we are supposed to think, "Oh, maybe Angel's still alive. Maybe it's her." And I don't know. He plays with your emotions in an interesting way that you don't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sets up expectations.
Mm-hmm. So that's everything I have for this chapter. What's going on? Anybody else have any other thoughts?
I'm surprised at how heavy it was rereading it. And I don't know if it's because we're so used to winning in the game, but I think the fact that there's such a high body count out of seemingly only drips and drabs usually, and now all of a sudden we have names and we have a funeral service to go with it. We kind of lent a certain darker air, even though this book has a lot of losing results in it.
A quarter of the wing after you just had to resupply fighters and pilots, and then you lose another quarter.
And you make a very good point, and I had that same reaction. It's so heavy, it feels it's a punch in the gut, and I kind of wonder if that's an example of our different mindset as we get older. When we were teenagers, we had this sense that the world was just and right, and that everything was going to work out no matter what. And even in the darkest point in this novel, we kind of could see that and sort of more criticize Blair's personal decisions than anything else.
Sure.
I would have done this a little bit differently, but it's all going to work out. And now we're in this very different world in 2019 where it often feels like things are not working out. And we are much more open to this world where things can be bad to these people. I don't know. That strikes me.
Yeah. You're
not to depress everyone terribly forever.
Yeah, it's as a kid, you're angry at them for not doing what you were able to do 20,000 times with your eyes closed. Like, how could you not get all those damn missiles, you moron? Or it's like an injustice to you, but also like an insult. It's a slap in the face, saying that you shouldn't be able to do this, and or now you take it more as okay, not every mission is going to be a clean sweep. Not every single thing is going to go perfect, but the choices that Keith makes to punch you down are so drastic that you're just like, oh, like come on, man, you're sitting on my chest, like give me a second to breathe. And you don't really, you get that like in such little bits that where you're like, oh, okay, I can gasp, but then it's like, nope, smack right back down. But you're never fully knocked out. You're really put back on your heels in a way that you're not used to, especially with the other novels where even when you get even when we get to The Price of Freedom, you don't see anything this severe in terms of setbacks.
No, and psychologically and kind of plot-wise, this book is really well done compared to the others.
Yeah.
And you don't notice it when you're younger. You think it's just
you're
carrier
angry.
exclamation point.
Yeah, you're just pissed off because why are you not doing all, and why are you not winning everything, you dick? Yeah, it's real, and that's how I feel like a lot of us were. I'm sure if you look back at the old news group posts, it's a lot of us just being angry at things not being perfect, which then is a crappy book. And
let me stay right here. I defended this book from the start, so
Yeah.
I just didn't have the
the
advanced teaching in English literature to make myself sound smart about it yet.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, any other thoughts about this particularly long stretch of Commander 3 novel?
It's like a weird slog. Like it's not tough to get through, but you're just like, damn, this goes on for a while.
It is a long section. Laconda, they spend a long time on Laconda compared to other systems. In the games, every system is like, that's an interesting thing. Like we get so used to these four mission systems through many games, and it's not until later on when we start to deviate from that a little bit That the book lets us spend a little bit of time or a lot of time on certain areas as needed for the story.
Which interesting housekeeping note for next week. And next week we're going to do book club again. So we'll do book club
2 weeks,
1 week from today. But it's going to be. It's what's that?
He said, "Oh,
no, it's going to be a book club mini because." While the game spends quite a few missions in the Black Main system, either abandoning or saving that base, we get one chapter. So, next week's show, we will do a mini book club where we talk about just chapter 16.
Okay. All right, well, that's a little variety, shaking her up.
Yeah, it's a book club mini. It's coming.
The MBC.
So with that, I will say... May all find the peace who died in the fires of war. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Oh!
So I will see you guys at Book Club Mini. And if anybody else out there wants to join us, please do. Anybody is welcome.
Everybody can jump in the big woo.
Yeah, and obviously we're
You only have to read the one chapter. You don't have to
just read the one chapter.
Chapter 16, you can stay toe-to-toe with us.
Yep.
And I brought up the end of the war on Twitter the other day, and I had a reply immediately. Somebody saying, well, isn't it kind of wanting to talk about the morality of it? And that will be in a few, not next week, but we will be having a big discussion about the decision to use the bomb, and that's going to be exciting. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll have a big thing on that. We'll have to look at all those different things.
Mm-hmm. So with that, it's not the end yet, because we got a little cargo bay first. Let's go on over there.
All right.
I do have a couple of treasures I have gathered in this last week. One of which is another tease for a future show.
Yeah.
Show them that. I got very cheaply on eBay a box of Wing Commander CCG boosters. So we're going to do an episode where we open them.
You get a booster, I get a booster. Everybody gets a booster.
We're going to open them. We're going to see what it was. I mean, the most exciting part of my teenage years was certainly Wing Commander CCG begging people for money, going to the hobby shop in the mall and getting a pack. So we're going to live the dream in an upcoming episode.
But is there bubblegum in there?
There's not bubblegum. Although, have you ever... You probably do not collect very old cards, but... You can buy very old cards and still have the bubble gum, and it's disgusting.
Well, it was disgusting then, yeah. I mean, it was just super duper dry, hard rock crap.
The weird one is Dune. Ooh. The Dune trading cards from Fleer, from the Dune 80s movie.
Yep.
Stick a bubble gum in there. Like, who are the people like, oh man, David Lynch's Dune, and
give me some of that bubble gum. Hey, what are these?
Here we have a couple more Wing Commander Academy backgrounds, which I picked up cheap on eBay.
Hey guys, look,
you're in a Drothek, your favorite ship.
Oh, that's what that is?
Here's the actual background for that one, which is it's the Drothek
hey man,
cockpit.
Look, you're in there. I was hoping it was going to be better scale. It really let me down right away.
So yeah, show a couple of those off.
Sorry for the glare.
Whenever these go on sale, I try to buy them if they're affordable, because we have the bulk of the show, and I try to preserve everything I can.
Check out this, ready? And then...
What that is the group in the U.S. would do the storyboards for the show. They would send them to Korea and Japan for the actual animators. The animators would first do one of these, which is the sketching out of how the actual scene will look, and then over that they will do the background and then paint it on a cell the actual moving characters.
And you can see there's actually even some Asian characters. Mm-hmm. They're talking.
There were two production studios for Academy, one in Korea and one in Japan.
Look at this. Does that show up very well, I hope? The pencil lines might be a little thin.
Yeah. Well, we'll do high-res scans of these like we've done with so many others and have those online.
Let's look for some good ones. It's just a terminal. It's a back seat. Oh, here we go.
That's the Tiger's Claw, the medical, the house. What do you call the hospital on a ship?
Medbay?
Medbay. What do you call it on a real ship?
Infirmary.
Infirmary. That's what I was thinking.
Look it up here. I can't see because the microphone's in the way, so I'm hoping my face is lined up right.
Sort of.
That's good enough. And let's see. Yeah. Ooh, look at this. It's
That is the scramble alarm on the roof.
It's the easy. It's the easy button. You mean? What are you talking about?
It's the jump drive button for our device.
Ooh, this is how the fuck does this one work though? Hold on. Okay, we got a cockpit.
That's the scimitar cockpit.
Which I'm not sure, but like. You know, you can see the layers here by taking it up.
Yeah, because a character could have been moving you give the sense of movement from the control.
It's hard to figure out.
And you would have had a character cell in the middle there.
We got some nice painted backgrounds.
Yep, these would be the very background of the actual cells. So
very nice. Very
so
nice.
that's all cool. And last but not least is something I think is very cool.
We got
that is the Wing Commander movie on VHS. In Turkish. You gotta show everybody. There's a Turkish VHS release of the Wing Commander movie, now added to our international galaxy of Wing Commander movie releases. So yeah,
I have a Turkish friend.
Well, I can make a copy of that if you want.
I'm going to be like, what the hell is this?
And
it's gold, man.
With that, let's go to our ending.
Oop.
Up, yeah. We gotta draw a quick spaceship. Yep. 5-second spaceship. And so tell us about next week. What's
So next week, we have Mini Book Club Chapter 16 for Black Mane.
Yep.
Wing Commander 3 PC Black Mane. We'll go back to Righteous Fire and do another series of missions. We'll have to decide what fixer we'll go to next.
If you have a preference, vote in the comments.
That's right. Always let us know. And then, I don't know, we'll probably we'll think of something else random to throw in there. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, we'll have to talk about it, figure out what we feel like doing.
Yeah.
We've been really grinding a lot of privateers, so it's kind of... It's almost like we've got a little comfortable, kind of falling right into that privateer rut. It's a path of least resistance to us.
It's so much fun, though.
It is, but then, we tend to get caught up and forget to do other cool things that we always talk about wanting to do.
Sign this Thunderbolt here.
Like we could do,
there's a Thunderbolt.
Maybe some other maybe we should do
our flight log.
Some other gauntlets.
Yeah, we'll look around. We'll do some exciting stuff.
Actually, that reminds. I have a tab open on my computer that has the Kilrathi thing I need to buy, and I was looking at chalkboards so we can have like a gauntlet kill.
That would be cool.
I looked at it, then you know how life goes. It gets stupid.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. It's gonna be exciting.
Like always. When is it not exciting?
Here's Clyde.
See ya.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. The mass driver cannon sure packs a satisfying plonk. A mass driver is a real concept, and it's more than just a shotgun in space. Mass drivers aren't really for blowing up spaceships, though. They're for launching them. A mass driver is an electromagnetic catapult that uses a motor to accelerate and then catapult its payload to incredible speeds. That means you could theoretically fire a spacecraft into space without using any sort of rocket at all. It would be propelled entirely by its own momentum. See you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.